We're just gonna go straight into it, so I'm not wasting any time. Because I like to continue more if I can.
え、今、なんて？
信頼できる筋の噂ですが、サトシ君の叔母殺しの犯人が見つかったらしいです。
Okay, so yeah, this is when they relay the information that they actually did find the murderer. It had been a few weeks since the murder. Satoshi-kun still hadn't been found. I had no new information of his whereabouts. Sai's report came in, as a result, completely out of the blue.
それって、警察が逮捕したって意味？
聞いた話では、逮捕というより、別件で取り調べを受けていた男が余罪として自供したんだとか。
That sounded strange. It was Satoshi-kun they arrested. If it was Satoshi-kun they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. It sounded as though Satoshi-kun wasn't the
葛西、
culprit.
結局、犯人って誰だったの？
Who is the culprit? That's true. I never thought about who was the culprit. They never talked about the culprits of the murders. Like, they're always like, oh, the culprits, but they never talked about who it could potentially be. So it wasn't Satoshi-kun. I swallowed those final words. I was convinced that it was Satoshi-kun. Hi, Roach! How are you doing? The police and Oishi must have thought the same way. The reason Oishi approached me is because he was convinced that Satoshi-kun did it.
ご安心を。
Hope you're doing well and your day was fun. Because everyone likes a fun day. Nice.
サトシ君ではないようですよ。
My day, I didn't do anything. I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule still. That's basically all, like, so I kind of just did nothing. But, because when I wake up late, it feels like I don't want to do anything. So I'm trying to change to wake back up early.
連続開始事件を模倣した異常者の犯行というような話みたいです。
はい？異常者？何それ？
Where did the numbers come from? 5782. I don't know if I asked that before. But where did, like what, the numbers mean anything? Kasai shrugged.
さあ、何しろ今回の事件は、秘匿捜査指定というものがかかっているんだそうです。なので、ほとんど情報が出回らないんです。
秘匿捜査？何それ？
連続開始事件による
So I wonder what's the
村への
point of
風
having
評被害
Shion's
対策という
reaction
こと
to
らしいです。
initially finding out about this stuff.
誘拐事件なんかでも、犯人との交渉が行われている間は、新聞に載らなかったりするでしょ？ああいう類のものらしいです。
To prevent the... Oh, okay, yeah, so confidential case. To prevent the... You see articles... You don't see articles about kidnapping while the police are negotiating with the culprit, do you? It's something similar to that. Okay. So they want to make sure that it's, like... It's actually someone... Like, the person actually committed the crime, I think? I don't know. I want to think of it. I hadn't seen anything about the aunt's murder on the TV or the newspaper.
何しろ、4年連続で綿流しの日に事件が起こっているわけですからね。お社様のたたりだと騒いで面白がる輩も多いそうですし。そうそう、何でもその叔母殺しの異常者ですが、連続開始事件を模倣したくて行ったと自供したんだとか。
Kasai didn't know anything else, so instead of probing him further, I reviewed the information myself. I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi-kun killed her. I thought that was one of the reasons he had to disappear. But if it was actually some lunatic who killed her, and he had no relation to the aunt whatsoever, so Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with the murder. If so, why did he disappear? I couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed the aunt. And what's really strange is the phrase Kasai used. 4 years in a row. After all, I've been thinking that this murder happened because Satoshi-kun had been in a dire situation and had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths. I felt as though Satoshi-kun's case had become somebody else. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also known as the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Satoshi-kun's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. In other words, Satoshi-kun's case has become a part of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I didn't like the way that sounded. because it was as though the curse had swallowed Satoshi-kun. Interesting.
残念ながら。
Oh, so did she go over to the police station
例
now?
の東京行きの新幹線に乗ったらしいという情報も確認が取れないままです。正直なところ、県の中にいるのか外にいるのか、それすらも分かっちゃいません。
Oishi broke the seal of a new can of instant
あれだ
coffee.
け胸を張って、サトシ君が犯人だと息巻いていたから、もう行方を掴んでるとばかり思ってました。
いやいや、情けない限りです。
Oishi chuckled and poured a cup of coffee, which looked far too hot.
しかし、耳が早いな。
はい？
秘匿捜査指定だってのに、どこの誰が漏らしてるやら。やれやれ、うちの傍聴も問題があるな。
So, yeah, who at the police would leak it? I don't even know. Oishi smirked. Seems he knew why I was here
まあ
today.
腐っても園崎の端くれですので、多少の噂は耳にできますということで。
I smirked back at him. It's all about
あ
bluffing.
あ、いいか。腹を割り合った仲ですしね。いいですよ。
まず聞かせてください。
First, okay, Diana?
真犯人って、一体何者です？異常者とか聞きましたけど、それってどういうことですか？
How are you doing?
どういうことって言われたってね。そりゃ私だって言いたいですよ。私はサトシ君が犯人の一点読みでしたからね。とんだ万馬券が飛び出したもんです。
Oishi threw himself on the sofa and crossed his hands behind his head. He looked up at the ceiling and smiled wryly.
先日ですね。
I'm
県
watching
警の方から急に連
Spider-Man
絡が来たんですよ。
Homecoming right now. Are you watching it with anyone, or are you just watching it yourself? With Rissa, okay. Just going through all the Marvel stuff still? How far are you along? I saw there was a new I know you said you've been going through every MCU movie. I saw there was a new Spider-Man movie that they announced as well, right? Recently. Like a new MCU Spider-Man movie. Which I thought they would be done after, like, what happened at the last one, but no. Yeah, MCU movies, yeah. I saw them receive. Okay.
すでに逮捕して取り調べをしている男が主婦殺しを自供したって。
それは何者？
薬に手を出したとんでもない野郎でしてね。出所しては捕まるの繰り返しだそうです。ひなみ沢村連続開始事件が面白そうだったんで、4年目のたたりは自分が下してみたくなった。
Why do they still have this music with, like, it's so ominous.
間違いなくそいつが犯人？
私が直接話を聞いたわけじゃないんですがね。先方が取った供述調書には、いわゆる犯人しか知り得ない情報ってやつががっつりと含まれていたんですよ。凶器を王子川のどこかで捨てたって言ってましてね。今はドブさらいの最中ですよ。これで供述通りに凶器が発見されれば完璧でしょうな。
たとえ凶器が見つからなくても、おおむね確定。
So, what was the murder weapon then? Have they ever talked about what the murder weapon was? They just said they threw the murder weapon into the river. We're at the ending parts of it. I'll be here. No problem. Don't worry about it. You guys can keep watching the next movie if you want.
現場の状況と仏の状況を正確に供述しています。襲った本人にしかわからないような細かいあたりまでね。
納得はいってないみたいですね。
Oh, is she still looking up at the ceiling? Went quiet.
実はね、とっくになくなってるんですよ。
What do I think right now? About what exactly? I'm just like interested more in this culprit because every single time in passing, they've said that like, oh, the culprit. Like, you know, they're always like, oh, the 5 people who killed the construction worker. The culprit who, like, some random delinquent, you know? Like, who are these random people? Like, who are they? Like, they are people. So, and it seems like we are going to hear more about them. And I'm glad that we're finding more information about who this person could be.
うちに連絡があった時にはすでに。
亡くなってる？
The Morn was dead by the time I got their call.
給食とかに出てくるでしょ。留置場の食事にもあれが出てくるんですよ。
Spoons that are forked at the tips like a spork.
そいつを飲み込んで窒息したんだとか。
She just swallowed it? Okay. Surely that's not like...
自殺なのか錯乱なのか。
Hello, Rissa.
ちょっと区別がつかないですがね。
How's your Spider-Man? I imagine somebody swallowing the spoon and gagged.
だから十分に納得するまで調べられたわけじゃありません。
Like it a lot. Nice. I don't know. I know you guys said you're going in order, so I don't know what that means exactly, but I think the second... What was it? No. I think that was a Spider-Man movie, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a Spider-Man movie that, Surplus got mad at me about, because I skipped, the part. I can't remember, of the entire prom scene.
私は納得できないんですがね。上の方は十分に納得しちゃったようでした。どうもその愉快犯が主婦殺しの犯人ってことで決着しそうな流れです。
That is like the thing he has hounded over me for literally years. Oh, she turned his eyes from the ceiling to me. He looked serious.
これは個人的な意見ですよ。他の誰にも内緒ということで。私はこの大バカたりは何かの間違いだと思ってます。
He's such a nerd. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
何かの偶然による壮大な勘違いか。
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good, Rissa. Enjoy finishing it.
ねえ。
When are you're not... Did Dinah, like, look over and ask you to say this in chat beforehand?
全然意味わかんないですよ、大石のおじさま。
私は今でも
This might
犯
be
人は北条
by
聡君だと思っていま
chain of
す。
coincidences, or you know, okay. I still believe the real
きっ
culprit.
ぱり言い切
Okay.
りますね。
残念ながら現場検証では犯人を特定できるような痕跡は何一つ発見できませんでした。サトシ君が失踪した後、家宅捜索の
Man,
許
so
可が下りま
Satsuko
してね。
was the only person in that house at the time, or what?
家を改めさせても
Oh
も
no,
らい
because
ま
she
した
already
が、
moved in with Rika.
それで
So
も
no.
手がかりはゼロ。
それでも、サトシ君が犯人だと疑ってる。
ねえ。
証拠もないのに、どうやったらそこまで人を殺人犯呼ばわりできるのやら。大したもんです。長年の勘ってやつですか？
ええ。
I think that's a fair response,
この
Oishi.
道で何十年も飯を食ってきた男の直感です。
I think that's a good response. Oishi smiled in satisfaction, but I didn't feel relieved.
サトシ君は、どこへ？
Yeah, earlier she told me she wants in a cruise. She started. Okay. Yes, I am a very hairy person. You should do a leg dance on stream. But on the cruise, like the picture that I shared of myself was wearing jeans. I don't think I was. I can't remember showing my legs, but the only thing I remember was wearing jeans. Do a leg dance. Why is this like a thing that we want me to do a dance stream so badly? Like, why is this a... Why do we want this? It's all in her imagination.
サトシ君が失踪した理由の一つこそが、
What is the benefit of having a dance
彼
stream?
が犯人であるから
Like,
だと固く信じていたんです。サトシ君が犯人でないなら、そのあたりがかなり薄れちゃいますからね。
おば殺しの犯人はその愉快犯で、 サトシ君の
Because
失
it would
踪
be
とは無
amazing.
関
It
係
make, but why is it so like? Why is that the thing that would make your day? A dance stream? Like, why is that so important? Like, what would even what would I even do for a dance stream? That sounds like the worst stream of all time. Like, I'm just sitting there and we're just playing this stupidest music, and then it's like I don't even like to dance, so it's like I would just be doing like it would just be so boring to watch. It's yeah.
サトシ君失踪は私とサトシ君の仲を裂くために園崎本家がやったもの。叔母殺しとは無関係という考え方は？
Was Satoshi-kun a culprit or a victim? Just make it a little part of a regular stream. We're no, not right now. We're not gonna talk about this right now, okay? We're just not. We're not. The reason for his disappearance had become unclear. You're thinking about it. I'm thinking of a way to decline it without just like saying no. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Enjoy your movie.
私は旧敵との恋仲程度で人一人を失踪させるなんてリスクを冒すとは思わないんですがね。実際、園崎家の内部としてはどうなんです？シオンさんはそのあたり何かご存知？
知っていたらこんなとこに来ません。
ごもっともごもっとも。
Okay. Where's what? Oishi laughed out loud while scratching his head. And after he stopped laughing, he leaned over.
よーし。なら一つどうですかね。協定を結びませんか。紳士協定。
協定？何のです？
サトシ君失踪事件、捜査情報共有協定。裏の界隈でサトシ君の失踪に関する情報を得られたら、
Oh, so
私に教えてくださ
that's
い。
why maybe Shion got like mad about the transfer thing, maybe? Because it's like, oh, if there's evidence, then please show me.
もちろん、私もサトシ君についての情報が入ったらあなたに提供します。いかがです？
なんだか一方的な虫のいい話に思えますけど。
Oishi chuckled.
シオンさん、このまま行くと、主婦殺しの犯人はすでに死んでるその大バカタレってことで確定すると思います。そうなると、サトシ君の扱いは単なる家出人になります。つまり、積極的な捜査は打ち切られるということです。ですが私だけは続けます。私だけはサトシ君の行方を引き続き探します。
So Oishi's still looking for it during this time, I guess? Maybe, I don't know.
シオンさんも私も、サトシ君の行方を探しているという点では一致してると思うんですがね。
目的が全然違いますがね。私は単に無事を確認したいだけですが、大石のおじさまにとっては逮捕が目的でしょうから。
主婦殺しが決着すれば、サトシ君は無実ってことになりますよ。真実はどうかは別にしてもね。
怪しいもんです。
Oishi chuckled again, but a smile didn't reach his eyes.
まあ、今後も仲良くやりましょう。敵の敵は味方とも言いますしね。
別に私、園崎本家と敵対しているわけじゃありませんよ。
なあ、本当に？ならそりゃ失礼。
This is the way of Kuraudo Oishi, huh? As Sis and Kasai said, I wouldn't want him as my enemy or my ally, because both would be too risky. I probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of this big fat weasel. Why do we keep calling Oishi, like, why do we keep insulting Oishi's weight? I sipped on the coffee to fill up the silence, though I wasn't thirsty. Outside the window, I could see normal life taking its course. He doesn't even look that fat. Like, obviously he has, like, a belly to him, but, like, he's not, like, morbidly obese or anything. But Satoshi-kun wasn't there. He should have been there, but he wasn't. I was scared that I might grow used to his absence someday. Where was
サトシ君はどうしてるんだろう。
無事だといいんですがね。
生きてる可能性は薄いとか思っているくせに、気休め言わないでほしいです。
サトシ君の失踪、ひなみ沢じゃなんて言われてるか知ってます？
え？
鬼隠しにあった、なんて言われてるんだとか。
The same thing as before. To be demoned away means the same thing as being spirited away. It's part of the local dialect.
鬼が淵沼の底の鬼の国にさらわれたって？バカバカしい。
とにもかくにも、連続開始事件もこれで4年目です。気の早い話ですがね、
おば殺しが、お社様のたたりのせいだって言うんですか？
全体的に見てみれば、仏も北条家の一人。ダム戦争の戦犯と縁がないわけじゃないですからね。しかも、またしても綿流しの日にとなれば、面白がる連中が現れるのも、無理もないことです。
I mean, maybe people just want to keep a tradition up or
バカバ
something.
カしい。
Like not
何
tradition,
が
but
お
like
社様
something
のたたり
happened
だ。
one year, and people just wanted to keep going at it. Though I said that, I couldn't quite wipe away the fear from my mind. Why did Satoshi-kun disappear? Was it the Sonozaki family? Did he run away from the police? Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Why did he even disappear? He's on his own. Oyashiro-sama's curse has nothing to do with it. But, that's strange. Satoshi-kun and Oyashiro-sama's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together. Where did I hear that? From Rena. That's right. That rainy day. It was Rena Ryugu who told me that when we were taking shelter in that shack. I remember the creepy story that you told me at the time.
サトシ君は心のどこかでひなみ沢を捨ててどこかへ逃げ出したいと思ってるから。
That's what Rena Ryugu said. Rena had definitely pointed out that Satoshi-kun wanted to leave Hinamizawa at that time. She also said,
サトシ君が体験していることはすべてお社様のたたりの前触れなの。
she said that, for sure, she had definitely mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse. The series of mysterious deaths had struck 4 times. Was Satoshi-kun being controlled by the curse? Is that why he killed his aunt and was demoned away? That can't be true. Satoshi-kun's smile faded away in my mind. Satoshi-kun disappeared. Not only that, the reason for his disappearance also disappeared. It must have been done by human beings. I can't accept that he was demoned away. Notebook, page 43. Okay, but what are all these pages in between that we're missing? I want to know everything that's happening. This is the library, I think, right? Why is it fading to black here? I moved from one chair to another because the air conditioning was too cold. I moved with my notebook, my pen case with a bunch of keychains, and my cup of milk tea. I did it all in one go. I sat down in a new chair, then opened my notebook again. I scribbled my thoughts and sank into silence. The series of mysterious deaths, dubbed the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. I've been viewing each incident as a separate case, even though it was followed by another one. I've never looked at all the cases as part of one big scheme. After I wrote down all the incidents on paper, it became clear to me that all of them served the same agenda. I wrote down the victims. The first year, the construction site manager. The second year, Satoshi-kun's parents. Third year, the priest. The fourth year, Satoshi-kun's aunt. For the fourth year, one could consider Satoshi-kun himself to be the victim rather than his aunt. If I consider that each case arose from the grudge over the dam conflict, it's quite simple. In the first year, the construction manager was killed because he was a symbol of the dam construction itself. Of course, the real enemy was the Ministry of Construction, but it wasn't as clear as the target. That manager, on the other hand, had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. If Oyashiro-sama had really cursed someone, it would have been the officials from the ministry. It's apparent that the target was selected based on the villagers' preference. The second year, the accidental death of Satoshi-kun's parents. It's said that they fell from a cliff in some park, but it's doubtful that it was really an accident. His parents were labeled as traitors to the village because they sided with the dam construction, even though they were also from Hinamizawa. The Hojo family was ostracized during the dam conflict in order to prepare further pro-dam activists from rising up. This means that the Hojos were necessary during the conflict to play the role of the traitor. So when the conflict was over, they no longer served any purpose. The construction site manager was a symbol of the external enemy. The Hojos were a symbol of the internal enemy. Those people fell victim to the curse, and it seemed that the grudge was over. The damn conflict had ended. Yet those incidents were followed by another one. The third year, the leader of one of the three families, the priest Furude, suddenly died of an illness with an unknown cause. His wife drowned herself on the same night. She seemed to have left a note that said she was sacrificing herself to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. Whether it was a fatal disease or suicide, their deaths looked suspicious. Mion admitted that the Sonozaki family didn't like the priest's attitude, didn't like how the priest had been generous towards the pro-dem activists. The priest wasn't quite a traitor, but he was certainly uncooperative. Looking at these incidents, I realized the curse was performed based on the degree of hostility. Enemy, traitor, and dissident. This meant that the curse was actually payment. It was a punishment for the criminals of war. In the fourth year, I didn't understand this case at first, to be honest. At first, I believed this case was separate from the other ones, even though it occurred on the same day. I never thought that there would be an easy relation to the other three. But when I wrote it down and looked at it objectively, the victim is a relative of a traitor. After enemy, traitor, and dissident, relative of a traitor doesn't sound too odd. It comes naturally as a fourth target. On the day the villagers worship Oyashiro-sama, their guardian deity, the criminals of the dam conflict would have been punished by the curse. Just like how I was forced to pay at the Sonozaki house, the criminals were made to pay as well. After writing these things down, I started thinking that the fourth incident might be in line with the series of mysterious deaths after all. Whether it was Satoshi-kun or the dopehead, it seemed that they were forced to pay the role of a murderer, as part of a bigger scenario. Even if Satoshi-kun was the real culprit, even if he killed his aunt because of an ordinary grudge, the murder seemed synchronized with the grand scheme of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizoa, which is a payment plan for the war criminals. The murder that was the result of his pain. But what if somebody planned that as part of a scenario? For instance, somebody might have suggested him to kill his aunt on that day, that night at that place. I had no doubt that Satoshi-kun decided to kill her in order to protect Satoko, but did he really reach that conclusion on his own? Well, Keiichi did. Keiichi's obviously a different person than Satoshi, right? But how is it different? Or how is it changed? I don't know. Satoshi-kun was optimistic and somewhat detached as far as I know. Would he really have considered murdering his aunt even if it was to protect his sister? Couldn't it be possible for someone to have chosen the aunt as the fourth year's murder beforehand? And they used Satoshi-kun, as Satoshi-kun was eliminated because of his connection with them. Looking at it that way, the murder of the first year resembles this case. The main culprit behind that case hasn't been found yet, dead or alive. The other culprits testified that their fight had turned into a slaughter. But wouldn't it be possible that the main culprit had manipulated the situation? What if he had been told to kill someone on that day, at that time, and in that place? I'm certain the first murder resembles Satoshi-kun's case very much. So did that mean Satoshi-kun was being controlled by somebody else? Oishi had presented me with the hypothesis that the Sonozaki family made Satoshi-kun disappear in order to end my relationship with the murderer. When I read the notes I wrote down, his disappearance didn't seem too spontaneous. It seemed like part of a bigger plan. Since I'd unexpectedly gotten involved in that plan, I had to be separated from him. Then Satoshi-kun was demoned away as planned. At first, I also believed the Sonozaki family made him disappear because they didn't like that I was in love with a member of the family of traitors. But something didn't add up. Something felt strange. I wasn't the reason for his disappearance, after all. Even if I never met him in the first place. Satoshi-kun was supposed to kill his aunt in June 1982, and then disappear. At one point, I've been thinking of taking revenge on the hag. I believe that she separated us. What if my relationship with Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with his disappearance? I mean, we already kind of know that. We know when Keiichi was talking with Mion, she said the murder was already decided, right? Like the targets were already decided. She couldn't change it. What would that mean? Who made Satoshi-kun disappear? I needed to understand the series of mysterious deaths in order to solve this mystery. second, sorry. Checking my headphone length that is equal on either side. What did all these deaths mean? Who was behind them? What purpose did they serve? I want to know the purpose, the motive, and who was responsible. Who took Satoshi-kun? I wanted to know if he was still alive. The series of mysterious deaths on Hinamizawa, also called Oyashiro-sama's curse. What is that curse? Specifically, what kind of god is Oyashiro-sama? What blessings does he bring and what punishments does he dole out? I wrote down my thoughts in the notebook. What's Oyashiro-sama? What is he? I scribbled these things down. I was so absorbed by it that I didn't realize somebody had been standing behind me, watching me the whole time. I couldn't stop myself from gasping when I realized that...
ごめんなさい。
Takano-san.
驚かせちゃったかしら。
The intelligent-looking woman giggled.
いえ、
So yes, it did seem that Mion was acquainted with Tomitake-san and Takano-san as well. Beforehand.
びっくりしただけです。こちらこそ、場違いな大声を出してすみませんでした。
She could have apologized a little better too since she'd been watching me from behind. But she just stared at my face instead.
あなたが、園崎しおんさん？私の名前を知ってて、私が初対面ということは、お姉の知り合いか何かですか？
Being twins is a pain sometimes. People you've never met before can tell exactly who you are.
ごめんなさいね。私の知っている園崎さんは、図書館なんかに来るような人じゃないから、噂に聞いた、双子のしおんさんかなと思って。
The woman giggled
お
again.
察しの通り、私は園崎しおんです。どうもはじめまして。失礼ですがどちら様ですか？あら、ごめんなさいね。自己紹介がまだだったわね。
She seemed to love her own hair because she kept running her fingers through it boastfully.
高野美代。美代って呼んでくれていいわよ。お気遣いありがとうございます。高野さん。
Her condescending attitude bugged me. I hated meeting people like that. I closed my notebook and got ready to leave the desk.
あら、怒ってる？ご検察、痛み入ります。私は一人で考え事をするのが好きなんで、よそへ行かせていただきます。失礼します。ごきげんよう。残念ね。私たち、話が合うと思ったのに。そうですか？私は合うとは思いかねます。
I hate her so
だ
much.
って、
Hello, Z-
お
what
社様の
is
たたりについ
that?
て研究する同志に出会えたんですもの。
That's kind of scary, I can't lie. What is that? How are you doing, Z?
貴重な出会いだと思うんだけど。
She saw my notes. My face reddened.
これは、私の、そう、
How's your
妄
day,
想
Z?
みたいなもの。でたらめです。子供の落書きなんかほっといてください。お社様のたたりと呼ばれる一連の連続開始事件。
I'm glad that I said yes. Today's the best day of your life. Nice! Congrats. Nice. How was how was your date, I guess?
いずれの事件も個別に見えながら、確実に一つの意思に基づいて行われている。毎年、一人がお社様のたたりにあって死に、一人が生贄に捧げられて失踪する。何を急に言い出すんですか？一人がたたりで死んで、一人が、何ですって？
I was taken aback by her weird spiel. But I realized right away that she'd said something extraordinary.
南沢村連続開始事件の犠牲者が常に偶数人数だってことはあなたも気づいてたんじゃない？それともまだそこまでには至ってなかったかしら？
The number of victims is always even? I was confused, but I tried to figure out what that meant. The damn construction site manager died in the first year. There was only one victim. I just couldn't stop giving it. Nice! You know, I'm happy for you, Z. I'm happy that it's going well. There's only one victim. The second year, the victims were the parents of Satoshi-kun, so it was two people. The third year was the priest, and if her death was also planned, his wife too again. And this year, the fourth year, Satoshi-kun's aunt died and Satoshi-kun went missing. Satoshi-kun's disappearance was planned, the number of victims was 2. It's true, except for the first one, victims always came in an even number 2. Wait. I just concluded myself that the first case resembled the fourth one. The main culprit was still missing. He might have been demoned away, just like Satoshi-kun.
ね、そうでしょ。
Takano-san sounded like a teacher who had showed me how to solve a difficult math problem. Where'd you guys go? Z?
ヒントはこのくらいでいいかしら。二人で存分に語り明かしたかったんだけど、あなたが孤独を好むなら仕方がないしね。
Because I know you said you were going out, but like, what, did you guys get something to eat or what? Yeah, what'd you guys do?
失礼な口の聞き方をしてすみませんでした、ミオさん。私のことはシオンと呼んでください。
She seemed content that I changed my attitude. She kept giggling for a while. She didn't seem that reliable. I didn't want to be acquainted with her for too long. But I don't get to talk to people very much, and what she said interested me.
改めて自己紹介するわね。高野ミオよ。ミオって呼んでくれると嬉しいわ。よろしくです、ミオさん。私は園崎シオン。ミオンの双子の妹にあたります。シオンと呼んでください。
I took the hand that Mio-san held out as a sign of reconciliation.
さっきの話を聞かせてください。二人犠牲者が出ると言いましたね。
If you wanna, you know, just talk about it, I don't mind just reading. But it's up to you. Z?
一人がたたりで、もう
But
一
if
人
not,
が
that is okay as well.
生贄とか言いましたか？
She's perfect.
ね
That's great.
シオンちゃん。このお話で盛り上がる前に、どうしてこの話に興味があるか聞かせてもらってもいいかしら。
She leaned over and looked into my eyes. It was kind of uncomfortable.
ミオさんこそ、私のことをどこまでご存知です？ご存知なら、おおよその見当はつくんじゃないかと。さあ。何年か遠くの全寮制の学校にいて、最近沖宮に戻ってきたとしか知らないわよ。そうですか。ねえ、シオンちゃん。じゃあ想像つきますよね。私がいない間に起こった連続開始事件。
Oh, sure, so you're not telling that she's connected to Satoshi in any way.
私はよくわからないので調べてるんです。ちょっとした興味本位で。なるほどね。興味本位で、ね。
I got the impression that she knew about what happened to Satoshi-kun and me. Because she instantly recognized me as Shion, not Mion. I didn't know why I thought that way. She shouldn't have access to the sources that, for instance, Oishi does. But just that the look in her eyes made me think that way.
ミオさんにも聞きます。さっき私のことを、お社様のたたりについて調べる同志と言いましたね。なぜたたりなんか研究してるんですか？そして、連続開始事件の犠牲者は、偶数人であることも言い切りましたね。
Mio did say that she's researching it, but why? I can't remember if she's ever said why she wants to research it so badly.
ひなみ沢連続開始事件は、確かに通称で、お社様のたたりと呼ばれています。なぜたたりを研究すると、連続開始事件にまで踏み込むことになるのですか？シオンちゃん、質問が一度に多すぎるわね。それに何が聞きたいのか、ややこしくてわかりにくいわ。
Yeah, Shion did ask a lot of questions there just now. Oh, I couldn't say anything in return. Maybe I'd been too inquisitive.
順に答えるわね。私が研究しているのはたたりじゃなく、もっと講義。鬼ヶ淵村の風俗史よ。平たく言えば、古代ひなみ沢村の知られざる歴史、暗黒史について研究しているの。鬼ヶ淵村？鬼ヶ淵って、鬼の国につながってるっていう、村の奥にある底なし沼のことですか？あと知られざる歴史、暗黒史って何です？
I kept asking questions. Mio-san, however, looked pleased to hear
鬼
them.
ヶ淵村というのは、ひなみ沢村の明治以前の名前よ。暗黒史というのは、うすうすは知っているでしょう？人食い鬼の歴史は。
Ah, the man-eating demons, huh? That was a fairy tale told in Hinomizawa. A long time ago, demons came out of the swamp, and while the villagers battled with them, they ended up living peacefully together. The villagers transcended and became a sacred people, having demon blood in their veins. That long-forgotten fairy tale came back to my mind vividly.
ひなみ沢に縁のある人なら誰もが知ってる当たり前の昔話よね。ではその半人半鬼の仙人たちが時に山を降り、
何の話ですか？
村人たちの体に半分流れる鬼の血は、鬼は鬼でも人食い鬼の血だったって話は聞いたことな
The
い？
cannibal bang. Okay, so this is when this you're gonna talk about Watanagashi, I think.
まあそんな話もありますね。
I dodged the question. Hinamizawa used to be a desolate village, but it grew in prominence after the Second World War and expanded its influence to Okinomiya and the other areas. The people who disliked and discriminated against the villagers called us man-eating demons. I remember that. The young villagers don't take it seriously, but the older people can get seriously upset about it. They certainly can't take it as a joke. So the term man-eating demon is forbidden. We normally never use it. Even during my rebellious phase, I never spoke those words. Mio-san, however, seemed to have no qualms with saying it out loud. Shion, I think you're still in your rebellious phase.
気に障った？
何がですか？
人食い鬼って単語を意味嫌う村人は多いからね。気に障ったなら謝るけれど。
年寄り連中は気にするらしいですけど、まあ私はそんなには気にしてませんので、それより続けてください。
ありがとう。じゃあ続けるわね。古代の村人たちにはね、人を食らう食人の習慣があったらしいの。そしてその食人の儀式を様式化し、さまざまなセレモニーや文化、風習を生み出したと言われている。私たちが6月のお祭りだと思っている綿流しだって、本来はちょっと早い夏祭りなんかでは断じ
So,
てない。
okay, the fact that, like, this information is not well known in Hinamizawa, but Takano knows this information herself. Like, where does she even research stuff like this?
本来は犠牲者をさらい食べるために行う食人の宴だった。彼らはね、犠牲者を高速台に縛り付け、お魚をおろす時みたいに腹綿を引きずり出して、それを川に投げ捨てたとされている。ほら、魚の腹綿って綿って言うじゃない。それが語源よ。綿流しの。
綿流し。
そうよ。お布団の綿なんかでごまかすようになったのは、私の研究では明治の頃からじゃないか
But,
と
like,
思うわ
what
ね。
research do you do? Like, she's saying, like, according to what research do you do,
ま
Takano?
さかこの昭和の時代にそんな恐ろしいことが堂々とできるわけもないのだし。
Everything Mio-san was talking about sounded startling. I was just taken aback. I couldn't wholly believe it right away. She sensed that from my expression.
もちろん思いつきなでっち上げなんかでは断じてない。誰にも見せないって誓うなら、綿流しのあたりの研究ノートを見せてあげてもいいけれど。
Mio-san took out a notebook from her bag and flipped through it. She appeared to be doing her research thoroughly.
ありがとうございます。お借りできるものなら、後でゆっくり読んでみたいと思います。
本当は閲覧厳禁の秘密ノートだけ
And
れ
she's
ど、
also hiding her research, but who's she hiding? Who's she worried finding out about it? But she's okay showing us Sonozaki.
研究の同志になら特別に見せてあげてもいいわね。
Mio-san handed me the notebook a bit hesitantly. Looked like it'd take a whole night to finish reading. It was densely packed with information. I saw copies of various documents and quotes in there too. It wasn't just some delusion of
一
her.
番最初にミオさんは言いましたよね。毎年の事件で、一人がたたりで死に、一人が生贄にされて失踪すると。
A person is sacrificed and disappears. Satoshi-kun had gone missing too. Did he become a sacrifice? What is a sacrifice anyway? Mio-san looked pleased to hear my questions again. She took out another notebook and handed it to me.
読めばわかるけど、かいつまんで話すわね。お社様のたたりとは、簡単に言えば、お社様の怒りのこと。お社様が怒ったら、罰として
But
たた
why
り
is
が起こる。
Oyashiro-sama angry? Like, they always say it's for the damn thing, but it has to be for something
それは
else.
わかるわよね。
一応わかります。ダム戦争で村に敵対した人間たちにお社様が怒り、たたりが起こったと。 そう言いたいわけですよね。
そうね。でね、お社様のたたりというのは放置してはいけないの。もっともっと大きなたたりを招くからね。だから神職である古出家の歴代当主たちはお社様のたたりがあるたびにそのお怒りを鎮めるために生贄を捧げる必要があったの。それを生贄の儀と呼ぶみたいなんだけどね。
Okay.
じゃあつまり毎年綿流しの日にお社様のたたりで一人死んで、そのたたりを鎮めるためにさらにもう一人を生贄にして殺してると、そう言うんですか？でも一人しか死んでませんよ、現実に。生贄に捧げられたなんて聞いたこともない。
死体が出ないのは当然よ。だって生贄の儀式は犠牲者を鬼ヶ淵の沼に沈めることなんだもの。
Ritual sacrifice requires the offering be sunk into the Onigafuchi swamp.
あの沼は一度沈めば二度と浮き上がることは
I
ない
wonder
と
if
言わ
somebody
れ
would
る
ever.
底な
Because
し
the thing
の
is, they said
沼。
they like the police have sent divers to try to look through the Onigafuchi swamp, right? So at least there has to be a bottom, right?
死体なんて出ようはずもない。
I think they've said they've like looked for divers or they've sent divers there before.
じゃあ毎年のもう一人の犠牲者はみんな沼の底に沈んでると？
Does that mean Satoshi-kun is also at the bottom of that dark green
さ
swamp?
あ、本当に沼の底に沈められているかはわからないわ。でも連続事件を起こしている人たちがそれを意識して一人を消していることは間違いないと思うわね。
Each year, a traitor to the village dies on the day of the Watanagashi because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, and another person is sacrificed in order to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. That person's body will never be found because he or she is supposedly thrown into the bottomless swamp.
そう。つまりひなみ沢村連続開始事件というのはたたりとそれを鎮めるための生贄の2つでセ
I
ットに
will
なった
say,
も
like, you
の。
know, the thing is that Higurashi repeats information a lot. Like, you know, I understand it's like the first time Shion is hearing about this, right? But like we as the reader have heard this like a billion times, you know? Like, I don't know if we need this much detail.
そしてそれを毎年繰り返すことによってダム戦争時の旧敵を毎年2人ずつ殺していけるシステムのことを指しているの。
Okay, maybe this is the first time that we've heard that they're always thrown into the swamp. I don't think we've heard that before.
私の話は省略しすぎてるからね。多分ちょっと信じがたいとは思う。だからこそあなたに預けた研究ノートをね、内容を理解できたなら、私の話がそういい加減なものでもないことがわかるはず。
I heard a man's voice just then. A middle-aged man with a hat was waving at Mio-san from the entrance.
ごめんなさい。待ち人が来たみたい。
That's Tomitake, right? Yeah, Tomitake wears a hat.
もっとゆっくり話がしたかったのに。でも機会はまだこれからもあるでしょうしね。そのノートはそれまで預けておくわね。中身をよく読んで理解できたなら、私のいい話し
So
相手になっ
usually
てくれるの
things
を
like
楽しみ
get
にしているわね。
strange after the Watanagashi, right? But I don't know, we'll see. Mio-san wrapped up the conversation and headed to where the man was waiting for her. She left her old notebook in my hands. Mio-san waved at me as she left the library with her companion. So she left the notebook with her. She didn't take it. I took a seat again and opened what she'd given me. What bugged me was the series of mysterious deaths. Also known as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. Maybe I'd be able to get closer to the truth by reading these notebooks. If I'd studied them carefully, I might be able to find out who was really behind the incidents. Why did Satoshi-kun have to disappear? What was he involved in? How did that happen? Maybe Takano's notes would bring me the answer. Research notes. Mio Takano. I started flipping the pages this time, making sure that no one was watching over my shoulder. It's nighttime now. It was time for the library to close. I had to leave. I brought some food on my way home. Or bought I shut my door and locked it right away. Then I heard the door of the neighboring apartment open. Kasai lived next door. Nobody else lived on this floor of the nearly empty apartment building anyway. I clearly heard the door open and close. Kasai must have noticed that I came home and was coming over because he wanted to talk to me. I unlocked the door and
葛
shouted
西
out
な
to
の
him.
鍵は開いてますよ。葛西さんじゃないよ。シオン。
That voice. I twitched.
入るよ。どうぞ、おね。
The door slowly opened. My alter ego, Mion Sonozaki, appeared. She was holding a box of cake, while smiling
どうぞ上
timidly.
がってって言うまで、玄関に突っ立ってるつもりですか？どうぞ上がって。全然可愛くない部屋で申し訳ないけどね。落ち着いた雰囲気のとこだね。
She looked a bit tense when entering my room. It was her first time here.
生活は、どう？新しい学校はやっぱりつまらないです。一応通ってはいますけど、気分が乗らないときはサボらせてもらってます。全寮制だとなかなかそうはいかないですからね。センルチはやっぱり辛かったか。チェ、お姉も一度閉じ込められてみろってんです。ごめんごめん。ケーキ買ってきたからさ、食べよ。
Mion opened the box. I saw 2 cheesecakes there. We have the same taste in food, so we don't have to fight if we get 2 of the same thing. I chatted with her over the cheesecake. I talked to her about school and whatnot.
必要な家具とかがあったら言ってね。融通できるかもしれないから。この部屋にもようやく馴染んできたとこだけど、近いうちに引き払うかもしれないから、家具はノーサンキューです。
Like, this was like a hotel room. Look, you can see the stuff here. This is where you put your suitcase. That's the like handle to the hotel and everything. This is like where you'd have the like the water and like coffee and all that stuff. Yeah, this is just a hotel room.
Dad うちのお父さんが沖宮に住むつもりなら戻ってこいってうるさいんですよ。
Dad wants me to come back home.
お
So
父
was she
さん
living
に
with
会
her
いた
parents
く
at
な
the
いんだ
time?
けど、かといって逆らうのも怖いしな。お父さんもシオンがいなくなって寂しそうだったから、なんだかんだ言っても帰ってきたら喜ぶと思うよ。チェー、人事だと思って。
Come to think of it, this was the first time I talked to Sis when I was allowed to live as Shion Sonozaki. She didn't look like how she was at the Sonozaki house that day. The successor of the Sonozaki family and my twin sister are 2 different people. The demon lives inside the leader of the Sonozakis. Our bodies are exactly the same, except for the tattoo of a demon on her back. Mion's destiny as a successor was set in stone when she got that tattoo. It's pretty simple. The Mion from that night was different from the Mion before me. When I was forced to tear off my fingernails, I'd momentarily despised her. But if I were the next leader of the family, I'd have done the same.
シオン、爪は治った？もうすっかり傷口は塞がったからね。最近は目立つのがかえって嫌なんで、包帯みたいなのもしてないで
So
す。
she just like leaves them out?
でもまだだいぶいびつでね。あまり人には見せられないかな。
I sneered at her, displaying my incomplete fingernails. Mion grew quiet and looked down.
謝らなくていいよ。ミオンだって、あそこは仕方なかったんだからさ。次期当主の役割を演じただけ。恨んじゃいないから。ごめんね。オッケー。その謝罪で私は全部チャラにした。でも、もう一度謝ったらそれは取り消し。一生許さないよ。
Damn, okay. That was... You know what? Good on you, Shion.
何それ。お姉は一度謝りモードに入るとなかなか抜けられない悪い癖がありますからね。私の方で区切らないとキリがないんです。本当に許してくれるの？サトシとのことも。
My heart ached when she mentioned his name. It felt like the ache of an old
シオン
wound.
がサトシのことを好きなのは、あれだけ大勢の前で熱愛宣言しちゃいましたからね。なんだか今更恥ずかしくもなんともないや。でも、バッチャはあれで本当にけじめがついたと思ってるんだよ。シオンがちゃんと自分でけじめをつけてみせたから、それで全部終わりって。そうでなきゃ困ります。あれだけ痛い思いしたんですから。サトシ、どこに行ったんだろうね。
I started choking when I heard her say that. I just said it to her myself. I said that I'd forgiven her completely. That promise instantly evaporated. Just because of what she said, I felt like I turned into a completely different person. Did you just say, Mion? Did you just say, I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to? Who else could know other than you and your folks? Did you say? Where did he go? But my eyeballs reddening in anger, I felt as though they were about to pop. I choked on a burning sensation in my throat. Mion's expression rapidly changed. It looked like she noticed the devil's mask on my face. We were one and the same. We can understand each other's thoughts without voicing them, so showing our expressions was like unveiling everything in our hearts to each other.
ごめん。
Even though I told her not to apologize anymore, Mion apologized. I felt like strangling her. I was going to make her confess where she'd hit Satoshi-kun. If she told me she threw him in the Onigafuchi swamp, I'd strangle her to death right then and there.
サトシのことは本当に知らないの。
That's a
本
lie.
当、バッチャだって何も知らない。本当なの。
嘘だ嘘だ嘘だ。じゃあ本当にお社様のたたりで鬼隠しにあったとでも言うつもりなのか。たたりなんてあるもんか、たたりなんてあるもんか。
Words kept coming out of my mouth like I was chanting a spell. I wasn't speaking by my own will anymore. It was the demon who was controlling me. The demon that had been sleeping deep inside me woke up and was speaking through my mouth. The demon's hands grabbed me on
お
by the
前た
neck.
ちがサトシ君を鬼隠しにしたんだ。お前たち園崎本家が、お前たちが返して、私のサトシ君を返して。
My hand slowly but surely squeezed Mion's neck. Mion's put her hand onto mine. I looked at her fingers. Here, the fingernails on her left hand looked as ugly as
ミ
mine.
オ、これはどうしたの？
Tears rolled down her cheeks. She didn't have to answer. She had the same scars as I did. She atoned as well. The way those wounds were healing looked the same as mine. So, did she get those wounds around the same time I
シオ
did?
ンだけが爪を剥がされるなんてかわいそすぎるんだもん。
Mion started sobbing. I stood there petrified, still wringing Mion's
シ
neck.
オンがね、サトシのことを好きだって分かって、私、シオンとサトシに幸せになってほしかったんだよ。だって、シオンばっかり、いつもかわいそうで、私たちは同じ双子なのに、なんでシオンばっかり、いつも差別され、
It didn't come as a surprise to me that Mion might have also loved Satoshi-kun as I did. We've always liked the same stuff and even the same people. She was stupid enough to feel obligated towards someone like me.
私ね、バッチャにね、怒鳴って言ったんだよ。シオンとサトシをそっとしてあげてほしいって。そしたら、けじめをつけたら見逃そうっていう話になって。だからね、ちゃんとシオンが頑張ったから、なのに、サトシいなくなっちゃった。こんなのひどいよね。
Mion isn't smart enough to shed crocodile tears. Those tears were real. Her tears dissolved my demon's anger like how the sun melts ice.
信じて、シオン。本当にサトシがどうしていなくなってしまったのか。園崎家とかバッチャとか、本当にそういうのは何も関わってないの。バッチャは、シオンのけじめで全てを許した。だから、サトシに何かするなんて絶対にないの。
I don't know what's going on upstairs. I'm just hearing like them stomping around. Like I don't know what's going on upstairs.
ミオ、ごめん。苦しかった。
I took my hands off her neck and held her instead.
苦しくなんかないよ。シオンはもっともっと苦しかったんだよね。
I shouted at the demon in my mind. I believed in Mion. I had been convinced it was the Sonozaki family that made Satoshi-kun disappear. But Mion denied it while shedding tears. Between her and me, her tears are more convincing than any words. So I believe in her. It absolutely wasn't the Sonozaki family that made him disappear. So... what's happened? Mion came over, and they're eating cake together, and then Mion was like, oh yeah, I don't know where Satoshi went, and then Shion went sicko mode, and then she saw that Mion cut off her 3 fingernails as well, and yeah, she's accepting Mion's apology. So do you really think that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of Oyashiro-sama's curse? I don't believe in curses. And Mion didn't do it. It was the curse of the Sonozaki family who demoned him away. I don't know. I just know it's not Mion. It's not the Sonozaki family because Mion says so. That's stupid, Shion. Are you going to ignore Satoshi-kun's voice? I know. You don't have to remind me, Demon. I can hear his voice. I know he's mumbling with an ambivalent expression like he always used to do, even though he knows help won't come. I'll help him no matter what. I'll save him if he's alive. I'll avenge him if he's dead. But Mion didn't do it. You just want to take it out on somebody. It doesn't matter who. But I'm Shion, not a demon. You're only a part of me. Don't try to take control. Fuck off! Don't ever show up again! The demon faded away. My body went limp, and I fell to the floor while holding Mion.
シオン、大丈夫？
もう、大丈夫だよ。ミオン、私たちは、どうして、ミオンとシオンなんだろうね。どうして、同じ一人であってはいけないんだろうね。
Wait, it says Mion, but they're both speaking here. Now I understand why he was so mad at you. Don't tell me you're gonna joke. How could you skip that part? It's not necessary!
やめなよ。私たちはもう何度もそれを自問してきたよ。
Not even gonna bother arguing.
でも、答えなんか出ない。現実に、私とあなたは、ミオンとシオン。それが現実。私ね、自分がミオンでもシオンでも、どっちでもいいんだよ。私たちは私たち。公平な関係でいたいのに。
It was not the whole plot twist. The plot twist was revealed a while ago. You don't need to see the entire, like, sequence of events. Like, that entire section did, like, it didn't add anything.
仕方がないよ。ミオンの背中には鬼が宿ってる。闘志を継ぐ定めが宿ってる。それは仕方がない。私、嫌だ。鬼なんかいらない。鬼なんかいらない。私は鬼じゃない。鬼じゃない。
It added suspension, you fuck. There was no point, like, the suspense didn't lead to anything. Like, if it's suspense and it leads to something, fine. But it didn't lead to anything. It just, like, it was just there.
同じ人間なのがいい。
Mion is a demon and Shion is a human. Even though we're twins, there's a difference between us. Was it impossible for humans to live with demons after all? It should be possible. Because they all did it before. That's the legend of Hinamizawa. Humans and demons lived in harmony together, as Oyashiro-sama watched over them. Mion. Mion, Shion, Satoshi-kun, demons, humans, Oyashiro-sama's curse, the series of mysterious deaths, Satoshi-kun's disappearance. We fell asleep while holding each other, while holding everything. Damn. That's sad. That was sad. I think, excuse me, Mion has gone back up. Not to my favorite character. I think that still goes to Rena. But Mion is my second favorite character. Yeah, I guess again, he was my favorite initially, but before Rena became the GOAT. Shown more of your utter stupidity, and now you suffer. Ah, surplus. I can't believe you got 2 more people your side. I saw Miyu Takano a few times after that. At her core, she was fascinated with the bizarre. She had an insatiable curiosity that was just as strong. I have to remind myself not to take her story too seriously. Otherwise, might start believing that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of the curse. She talks about the dark history of Hinamizawa a lot. It's all very interesting. Her theories are based on nothing but conjecture, but some of her intuition covers facts. No, Rissa, you're not supposed to say this! Surplus, you're rubbing too much off on Rissa. Yeah, all three heavily disagree with you. Yeah, Surplus, like, I can't believe you guys have been brainwashed by Surplus so heavily. Honestly, like, you guys need to think for yourself sometimes. The theories are based on nothing but conjecture, but some of her intuition covers facts that only members of the Sonozaki family would know. She thinks that Oyashiro-sama's curse is the continuation of these ancient rituals. In other words, how are you real? Nope, I think Surplus has mind controlled you guys. He set this up beforehand. It's actually, Surplus was the guy that made you guys watch the MCU, so really, he kind of, like, set this up beforehand. So you know what? I'm blaming Surplus. Yep, it's Surplus's fault. And no one... Yep, it's Surplus's fault. It says, calling you a dumb fuck is really in her nature. Listen, the only person who's ever called me a dumb fuck consistently is you, Surplus. And I know that she's been hanging out with you a lot. So thus, that means I think it's your fault. In other words, she really the curse performed by religious fanatics. So I don't have a mind of my own. I'm saying that you could use that mind of your own to come to better conclusions. Like, that scene was not needed, but instead you chose to believe Surplus. You and Chad Homecoming watch together on Discord, we think you change your mind. You know, if we did that, if we did watch together, I would skip the scene still. And I would make you watch me skip the scene. According to her theory, a religious cult once existed in Hinamizawa, and the three families stemmed from it. She believes that they're operating behind the scenes in order to revive the dignity of the Onigafushi people, which was lost during the Meiji era. I have come to the right conclusion on my own. You know what? Hard to prove that. Hard to prove that. What do you mean sexist? Mio-san's theories are far-reaching, and looking at them on a larger scale, they end up making a lot of sense. But they can't offer any explanation for Satoshi-kun's disappearance when using them on a smaller one. Their theories are just too broad. You are an evil person who needs to pay for their crimes. What do you mean I'm an evil person? I'm an evil person for skipping a, 15-minute section of one movie of all time? I exchange information with Oishi every now and then. We'd expect new leads from each other, but neither of us had any luck. I no longer believe the tip that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo. It was clearly bogus anyway. Although I can't befriend Oishi, he's been fair about the deal. He alone has been serious about uncovering any new information. Oishi's sources are quite reliable, so whenever I found some dubious tip, I'd check in with him to see if it was valid. My meetings with him have diminished in frequency since he's been assigned to new cases. Eventually we stopped meeting entirely. What do you mean one of the best parts of his character? I couldn't watch it because I was like, he's obviously making the completely wrong decisions. Oishi stopped investigating, and I reached the limits of my sources of information. People now think Satoshi-kun's disappearance was a supernatural phenomenon called demoning away. In Hinamizawa, they refer to his disappearance as having transferred, and nobody will talk about it otherwise. I don't like that phrase. We should watch Homecoming together on Discord called Put This to Rest. What would it be? Okay, what would it be putting to rest? If we just all watch the movie again that we have already watched and talked about. What would watching it again solve? I don't like that phrase. It's used to erase him. During the upheaval surrounding Oyashiro-sama's curse in 1982, I was pulled this way, and that by new leads on Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Every time I found information that looked promising, I kept changing my theories. Asshole! Why am I an asshole for that? But that also became an incredible burden on me. It wore me down plenty on its own. Okay, sorry, I'll be nice. I don't know. Seems a bit sus to try to lull me into a sense of security. And then you're gonna turn on me. Arguing with a fool is arguably as stupid as the person you're arguing with. Yeah, that's why we should all stop arguing here. Because it's like, I just can't put myself on the same level as you guys. Like, it's just too much for me. Fatigue was harsh, but it also provided a very kind acceptance. Bit by bit, it soothed away the anger, sadness, and doubt that wore me down. I'll never forget Satoshi-kun. If we watch it together, I drop this no matter your opinion by the end. Yeah, it's like to jump. I'll never try to forget him and move on. I constantly repeated those to myself in my head. I repeated them to keep my memories of Satoshi-kun from fading too, over and over. What do you mean, got me? Where did you get me? Together with my fear and my sadness, I repeated them forever and ever. You got. Okay. And surplus, we'll put a pin in that for now and then come back to it at a later time. Okay. Let's keep going to the next chapter. Were you just waiting? Oh,
淡くて儚い
I love his
シャボン玉の
that
よう
is light
な
and fleeting
恋
like a
心
soap bubble. If it seeks the
空を
sky
望
that
めば
breaks and vanishes before long,
やがて
the
壊
girl's
れて
thoughts
消え
were
るように
granted.
少女の思いは虚しく叶わなかった
I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something.
流した涙は
The tears that were shed to
血
change
の
the
色
color
と
of
なって
blood
生贄を
and
求め
yearned for sacrifice.
口をついた悲しみは
The sadness that pierced
怒
her
りとなっ
transformed
て
into
殺意
rage,
を生み出してゆ
and
く
ultimately to murderous intent.
純粋すぎる
Everything was
黒
absorbed
は
in pure black.
すべてを飲
The
み
darkness
込ん
continued
で
to spread.
闇を
In
広
the
げ
end,
る
even to
や
herself.
がては自分自身さえも
Okay, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Okay, you
生まれて
don't
こ
have
な
to
ければよか
announce
った
it
のか
so angrily. Okay, you could have said it in a nicer
架空すら
tone.
つかめ
Wouldn't
な
it be
か
better
っ
if I hadn't been born? This bloodstained hand couldn't even grasp the air. AD 1983. Oh, okay, so this is 1983 now. So this is when Keiichi's here now. I just need... Yeah, no, that's the thing. I forgot what I was going to say. Do you remember how I started? The fourth of the series of Mysterious Deaths and Hinami's Zone was 1 year after Satoshi Hojo's disappearance. Okay, sounds good, Rissa. See you. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. If you remember how it started, or how it was gonna start, just let me know. But I'm pretty sure all I said was surplus. And then maybe I said like 2 words. Oh yeah! I said, were you just waiting to, or were you just waiting for them to reach Spider-Man so you can ask them their opinion, and then you could, like, when what is it, they told you your opinion, if it was in the same line of yours, just like just come and stream at that second and then like write it to me, that like, see, I told you. It was mostly because of Guardians. Like for why you started MCU? I hadn't been able to get used to my new school in Okinomiya, but I had some friends there now. Yup, okay. Makes sense. Why did you choose to start with Guardians then? So I got a part-time job in a relative store. I had some extra pocket money too. Ended up living with my parents after all, so I didn't have to pay for living expenses. It felt great to get to freely spend the money I earned from working. I still use the room Kasai set up for me from time to time. It was a convenient hideout for when I didn't want to see my parents. Yeah, I think is the greatest trilogy of movies. I wanted them to see, but I was excited to gloat about Homecoming too. Okay, I see. In fact, I was planning to spend a day there too.
くしょう、先行め。サボりのことを家に連絡しやがって。
Surplus is right for once. No comments on that one. No comments on that one. My dad got upset, and that's why I didn't want to stay at home. I'd been asking for it, though. Thank you, Dianea. No! That's not how it's supposed to be. My teacher should know that my dad is a Yakuza and that he'll get really scary when he's mad. On the whole, my life has been going well so far. Except that it was boring. The reason I could enjoy this lifestyle is probably because I had to live in secret before. Alright, Surplus. Thanks for stopping by. Even if it was just to talk about Spider-Man and how supposedly wrong I am. But yeah. Have a good rest of your night. Dianea, make sure to keep him in check. And what do you want her to do? It's a great relief to be able to live without having to fake my identity. Well, that might have been a valuable experience. I think I learned from it. Bye, Surplus. I was going grocery shopping, and I thought I'd get enough food for a week or so. She knows. Okay. I was doing this for their sakes. You do know. Okay, well, I don't know.
今日って確か100円セールのお店じゃなかったっけ？
100 yen sale today? Dude, what's gonna be 100 yen?
そうだそうだ、間違いない。
I knew how to save my pocket money. I was in a good mood. I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like I was inside a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't where it was supposed to be.
もう、何？こんなとこに止めてるの誰？
I gave the motorcycle a kick with no. It's not these guys again, man. This is like the third time these bikes would have been knocked over. There were 3 motorcycles lined up in a row. They all felt like dominoes. Wow, like deja vu again. It was beautiful and so much fun. Oh, this was odd. I felt like I'd gone through the exact same experience before. While blinking my eyes in an effort to recall when that was, some people grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into the dark alley. Is this where Keiichi comes and saves her? It looked like these punks were owners of these motorcycles. I can't remember if Keiichi was the one who knocked them over initially and Shion came in to rescue. I can't remember if Keiichi tried to come in and then Shion, like, you know, just started yelling back, like overpowering them, or what exactly happened. It looked like these punks were the owners of the motorcycles. They started shouting at me. This really was strange. I was having deja vu. Things are repeating. It's the exact same thing, and Shion's noticing it as well. That's right. It was when I met Satoshi-kun for the first time. He came to save me. If I pretended to cry again now, would he come to save me again? I made a wish, and I started pretending to cry and beg for mercy. At that time, I doubted my ears. And there he is! Holy! There's a boy about my age. I couldn't quite see his face because of the light illuminating him from behind.
Satoshi-kun?
So yes, have you seen a sprite before? Here. This is the only place I saw it. Of course, it couldn't be him. It couldn't be. When I snapped out of my daydream, I realized that it wasn't Satoshi-kun after all. He looked less gracious than Satoshi-kun, so to speak. Satoshi-kun was pristine and untouched, and this guy would have had scratches all over him. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow. So, they're like definitely trying to draw parallels between Keiichi and Satoshi, right? Like they've established this a lot of times, and this just like confirms it 100%. But what does that? Is this like supposed to say that Keiichi is the reincarnation of Satoshi in some shape or form? The boy looked a bit taken aback.
いや、もう泣いてるんだから、それくらいで勘弁してあげてもいいんじゃないかな、なんて。
ああ？なことを命にされとんじゃ、俺が！
うわー！たま、暴力は良くないぜ。
What's up with this guy? I felt the shame that I mistook him for Satoshi-kun even for a second. Oh, Keiichi. He seemed cool at first, but he wasn't as cool as Satoshi-kun after all.
いや、だから、バイクが倒れたのはお気の毒と思いますよ。でもですね、どうか機嫌を直されてですね、どうしたら機嫌を直してくださるんですかね。いや、もちろん私たちはお金なんか持ってないんですがね。
おお、そうじゃのう。金がなかったら。金がのうならしゃあ！体で払ってもおっかないっしゃな！こんな、よう見ると結構イケてるもんな。どうじゃこの後。
Hey, are you kidding me? I tightened my grip on the stun gun in my pocket, then I turned it up to the maximum intensity. Don't hold a grudge against me if you die, pervs.
俺さ、一度解雇ち。
Dude, what are they talking about, man? They indulge in their imaginations, which arouse their spirits. You know, why are you closing in on me? Your gross hands are groping the air. Are you gonna try and violate me?
タイトミニもええのミニ。
Why do we have to go this in depth into this?
肌色の面積を限りなく広げて
Why do we have to highlight the socks
の姿
off?
にしちゃるげ
あんたら冗談でしょ？その汚い手で私に触れるな！
And a flash of light cut through the air. Was that the boy?
このボケナスどもが！
Blows like thunderbolts knocked the punks down. Wow, so he was actually strong after all?
何しさらすんじゃ！いてこまされたいんか！
お前らは分かっていない！分かっていない！
何がじゃ！
タイトミニには萌えがない！そして肌色面積が控えめに！
What are you... Okay.
たとえお天道様が西から登ることがあろうとも絶対これは萌え業界の
Wait, why is
鉄則
Keiji
だ！
like landing like literally like gauntlet thunderous blows against them? Like he's causing explosions with every
いい
punch.
かよく聞けど素
Didn't
人ども
last time he did this, he just like Shion stepped in and saved him?
ホモ・サピエンスと動物の違いは何か？そう衣服の着用だ。つまり人は肌以外の衣服の彩りがあって初めて人なのだ。つまり肌色を求めすぎる貴様らは人以下。
Dude, what is this?
動物と同じだ。貴様ら全員を強制する。
Oh my gosh. You know, I definitely think if this was like prior to chapter, you know, before chapter 4-5 here, I would have like absolutely hated this and be like, Keiichi, this is why you're the worst character. But honestly, it's nice to see this again.
歯を食いしばれ。
He does.
先ほどタイトミニを引き合いに出したな。例えばここに美少女と呼ぶにふさわしい女の子がいたとする。美少女と一言に言ってもその裾野は広すぎる。それについて貴様らに抗議することは
Like what is he
寿
even
司山芸
talking
者から入っ
about?
た外国人に侍の美学を一から説明するより困難この上極まりない。だからここでは最も普及していると思われる制服系
Like
で
he's
説明する
literally
こと
like
とす
just
る。
rambling on. Like nobody's listening to him.
制服系の御三家といえば何か答えてみろ。そうだな、制服、体操服、スクール水着だろう。なおセーラーかブレザーかの好みの違いは
He's
制服に
still
カテゴライズするものと
going.
する。もちろんブルマーかスパッツかの違いも同様、すく水も紺か白かの違
Oh
い
wait,
はあ
I
るの。
didn't check
カテゴリ
actually.
ーは同じ扱いだ。
Yo, why is he in a battle vest here? Why does he look so mad? Oh, what does the other art look like as well?
どうだ、これだけでも甘美な響きがするであろ
Okay.
う。ではお前ら3人がこれらのうちの一つずつが好
I
み
don't
であっ
know
たと
why
仮
he...
定しよう。
Hello, Roach.
おい不良 A、 お前は制服だ。
Roach, you came in at a time of all times.
不良 B、 お前は体操服。そして不良 C はすく水だ。頭に思い描け。時間は
Choose
3秒。
place to join back. Yeah.
描けたか。妄想くらい自在にできろ。気合が足りん、やり直せ。ではお前らの望む美少女がここにいてその衣装を着ているぞ。あると思え。ある。返事は押すか。さあイエスサーだ。
Like, he was not... Keiichi was not...
それでも軍
I
人
just...
か。
No, what did you... Wait, what did you forget? Or what are you alluding to for what you forgot? I also don't remember Keiichi being this strong before.
よーし描けたようだな。次に進むぞ。
Dude, I really want to hear Shion's reaction to all this.
それらの萌え衣装と貴様らの馬鹿げた浴場に従いお色気ムンムンなタイトミニスカート姿を見比べてみろ。
I don't understand this game. You kind of came in like over halfway, so it is a there's like a lot of context you are missing, but it does not make a lot of sense, to be honest, if you don't know the things beforehand. But basically, to give you the short of it, a bunch of murders are happening, and like we're like in year 5 of the murder. This is the character we played as beforehand, the main character we played as beforehand, and it's like we kind of like have died and revived multiple times. That's like the very, very like 2-sentence version of that's like, yeah, 80 hours condensed into 2 sentences. So there you go.
最近まだ萌えと色気の違いのわからん未熟者が増えているが、実に嘆かわしい。
Humans without clothes aren't civilized. They're yeah, okay.
本能でしか女性の魅力を語れない貴様らは犬猿キジだ。
This guy, man.
団子でももらって。
I don't even know if I could call this like, because cute mode is just like she loses herself, right? And like obviously, but this is like, dude, he's just yapping. He's just going on and on and on and on and on.
ちなみに最近の東西雪解けに従い、萌えもいろいろな類が大
Is
量に
this
上陸している
true? Is that true? Like, why would that be true?
そんなことも知らんのか愚か者は。制服系と金髪を掛け合わせてアニメ系などという酸素と水素が掛け合わされて能登半島かわいいよ大爆発なんて組み合わせが出ているようだが、本館は断じて認め、制服は日本の文化だ、芸術だ。和洋折衷はこの世界には存在しない。貴様ら聞いているのか、軟弱スルメどもが。
Okay. Thank you. Are we
歯を
done?
食いしばれ。今日は徹底的にしごく。
He's not done. He's not done yet. Dude, I love how Shion is just staring there in complete silence, wondering why does he sound like that? I know his voice. Like honestly, it grows on you, but like his voice, I really did not like his voice for the longest time. See, Shion is just sitting there in silence, just like wondering what the fuck is happening. At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way.
前原さん、みんな呼んできました。
I saw several kids running towards us. Seems like our backup had arrived.
くそやばいぞつながれ
The 3 punks had just been standing there agape, but they started running when they saw that many people. Yeah, I think that's a fair
さすが前
reaction.
原さんですね。たった一人であんな怖そうな3人組を釘付けにしちゃうなんて。3人の1人鼻血出してましたね。前原さん、喧嘩も強いなんてすごいです。尊敬します。
俺の固有結界も
My personal
ます磨き
aura
がかかったよ
has
うだな。
grown. He's such a nerd, man. You like? I'm happy to hear that, Roach. Good for you.
今に監督の固有結界 メイドインヘブンに太刀打ちできるくらいに磨きをかけてやるぜ。
And I'm a man,
そんなこ
cool.
とはいいや。
That is also okay. Why was your name Animal Crossing Gal then beforehand?
大丈夫かよ、ミオン。
I'm just kidding. I mean, that's still fine. I'm not a man. Okay. Yeah, dude, Kishi's a JoJo fan. It seems like it. That's what I didn't call it out, but yeah. You're a roach. Oh, yeah, okay. The boy was apparently called Maibara. He turned around and faced me. Even the way he mistook me for Mion sounded like Satoshi-kun. But Satoshi-kun isn't a pervert like him.
天下ごめんのミオンが、どんな情け容赦のない必殺技で撃
So
退
he's
してみせ
reading
る
the
か、
manga way back
ちょっ
when.
と楽しみにして見てたん
Dude,
だ
part
ぜ。
6 came back all the way then. Came out all the way back then. That's crazy. Well, you know what? If you're a roach, I'm happy for you. How are you able to type on your phone, though? What if I told you I was in the shower right now? Do you have one of those, like, sleeves that you can use while in the shower?
あ、まあ、さすがに男が
Wouldn't that
3
be
人がかりじゃ
crazy? It would kind of be
きつかったって
crazy.
ことか。
I definitely feel like I should be getting one of those as well. But, like, I feel at the same time, there should be times when I should be away from electronics. And I feel like showering is the best time to do that. If I got, like, one of those sleeves, it would be like, I would never have, like, other than when I'm in bed, I would not be away from any electronics.
そんなわけないよな。
I was still confused. I couldn't yet grasp the situation. Who was this guy? Mion had friends like him? I was still spacing out in shock, so I forgot how to move until his hand touched my head.
まあ、半べそ書いてたのは見なかったことにするからさ。
Like, Tuno is addicted to screens. Not that I'm addicted to it, but I think, like, for example, if, like, I'm going to take a walk, I'll bring my phone with me to listen to music, right? If I'm at the gym, I'll, like, you know, go, like, I'll watch a video while at the gym, you know? Like, there's a lot of times where I'm doing something, and I still have a phone or some screen there. So I think there's times that are good to just not have a screen be there, like, at all.
まあ、元気出せよ。な。
Rub, rub. The boy called Maibara stroked my head roughly. It didn't feel good. It hurt, actually. But still, his hand had the same warmth. Later on, Mion told me about him. He was called Keiichi Maibara. Kei-chan for short. He's one grade below us. Not only that, but he just moved to Hinamizawa. Thanks to his attitude and lack of manners, he's already become an idol in their class. Mion joyously explained all of this. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. I knew why Mion was into him, but Satoshi-kun is way cooler. He wasn't worth stealing from Sis. Or was he? My heart throbbed. I was excited. He was rubbing her head and Tuna. What do you mean I paused? I felt like I got in a new. What are you talking about, Mion? Or Shion? I was curious as to what kind of relationship Mion intended to build with him. I'd love to tease her about it.
ありがとう、ケイちゃん。よかったらお礼にお茶でもおごるよ。
Oh, okay. Why is he so close to the stream? Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, that. Okay, yeah.
すぐ近くにおじさんの店があるし、どう？
Satoshi-kun would refuse out of modesty. But Keiichi Maibara said, okay, within 2 seconds. Well then, I couldn't wait to tease the two of them. My boring life suddenly became bright again.
あ、おい、腕なんかにしがみつくなよ。
あれ？こういうの嫌いですか？
いや、嫌いじゃないけど、胸が当たって、
胸が当たって何ですって？
Keiichi Maibara was fun. Mion thought the same way I did. She would always talk about him. I was happy for her. It made me
お姉
smile.
はケイちゃんのこと本当に気に入ってますね。ズバリケイちゃんの魅力を一言で示すと何です？そうだね。もしも一言でしか言っちゃいけないなら、やっぱり面白いとこかな。そうそう、この間の部活の時にさ。
Mion really liked him, but didn't seem to think it was love yet. She was reserved in that area, so that was really like her. As for me, well, I didn't hate him. But my feelings weren't the same as Mion's. Kei-chan was just too childish compared to Satoshi-kun. Wondered how Satoshi-kun was doing. Was he waiting things to cool down somewhere far away? The case had already been solved, though. That dope head was the murderer. There was no reason for him to wait anymore. I shook my head. I shouldn't think about it too much. Oh wait, I know. The case was confidential, so the arrest of the culprit hadn't been made public. Satoshi-kun hadn't realized that he could come back. I know he's a little thick-headed. Maybe he'd be waiting for things to calm down until the end of time. But if so, couldn't he give a call to Satoko at least? She'd tell her he's living in a faraway place, but that he'd be coming home soon. Stupid Satoko. She'd been living with Rika Furude since Satoshi-kun went away. So nobody would pick up the phone, even if he called. Stupid girl! Don't you want your big brother to come home? Given Satoshi-kun's personality, he wouldn't remember any phone numbers other than his home number, so he wouldn't be able to contact anybody in Hinamizawa. Maybe he's been calling Satoko every night. He keeps ringing, but nobody picks up. Then he'd assume Satoko might be taking a bath or be in the restroom. He'd put on a puzzled smile while mumbling, like always.
Moo.
I imitated his voice without realizing it.
それで。え？何？今、シオン、何か言わなかった？
I laughed it off and urged Mion to continue. Hello, hamburger! I realized then that her tone had changed. I hadn't been listening to her because I was thinking about Satoshi-kun. I thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan, but Mion sounded grim now. Her faint smile looked pitiful. It was too late to ask what was going on, so instead I concentrated on her story instead.
でね、おじさんが、今日は盛り上げてくれてありがとうって言って、
this is when
売り物のお人形をみんなに一個ずつ配ったの。
This is when Keiichi didn't give her the doll. Okay.
私以外の全員に。お姉以外の全員にね。そりゃあ私も欲しかったけどさ、みんなの手前、私にもちょうだいとは言い出せなかったし。相変わらずお姉は、自分の欲しいものを欲しいと言えない人ですね。それで
Mion sniffled. I realized that she was on the verge of
ケイちゃんの
tears.
袋にはね、一番可愛いお人形が入ってて、そのお人形が一番欲しかったってわけ？
They are Japanese. Or sorry, Japanian. Yes.
別に何のお人形だってよかったんだよ。ケイちゃんは、私だけもらってないって知ってたのに、私にくれなかった。私に、くれなかった。ミオンには似合わないよなって言って、次に生まれてくるときは、男に
Yes,
生まれ
that
て
is true, Roach. That is true.
言われたんだよ。
That was Keiichi's weak point. He might be fun and popular, but he wasn't mature. Not like Satoshi-kun. What did I do? No, you didn't do... Why is she crying? She's crying... Basically, in an earlier chapter, there was like a thing. I mean, she's explained it here. But Mion didn't get a doll, and she wanted a doll, but she's like the person that's seen as the... I think your insults... Was it an insult? I think you're just asking where they were from.
やり直したい。ケイちゃんに出会った最初の頃からやり直して。今度はちゃんと女の子だと思ってもらえるように。おねえ、深刻すぎですって。お姉がやり直したいと思って、しかも向こうが何もトラブってない状態なら、全
Yeah,
然
the guy
セ
she
ーフ
loves
じゃない
is...
ですか。
Yeah, exactly.
互いに傷つき合ってただれちゃうと、まあやり直しも面倒でしょうが。やり直せるかな。ケイちゃんの前で涙を流してないなら、そもそも何も手遅れじゃないんです。お姉がこの場で適当に涙して、明日から心を入れ替えていけば修正可能ですって。
Yeah, look at... There's the rabbit over there and the bear over there, yeah.
そりゃケイちゃんのデリカシーのなさには呆れますけど、その結果は結局、今日までのお姉の積み重ねてきた結果なわけですから。今日からの生活を少しずつ改めて、ポイントを稼ぎ直せばいいだけのことです。生活を改めるって、どうやって？
The fish too? Where's the fish?
お姉に可愛らしくしろって言うと、明日からフリフリの格好で登校しかねませんからね。変に構えないで、普段通りに行きましょう。でも、細かい部分でこれまでの違い
Oh,
を
the
見せ
rug.
ていく。
Oh, okay. Like the Japanian animals best. What about them do you like the best?
そこがさりげないポイント。あと、人形をもらったレナという子には釘を刺しておくこと。 現在のケイちゃんの中では、お姉よりもレナの方が高ポイントの可能性が
Oh,
高い
yeah, I
で
was
す。
looking at this. This is a hotel room. I was looking at this earlier. This is just a hotel room, right? Like, here's the hotel door lock. This is where you have the coffee and all that stuff. This is where you see the luggage cart and everything. Like, it's just a hotel. You can eat all animals, right? I mean, can you? Yes, you can. Would you most likely be able to? Probably not.
確かに、レナは女の子っぽいしな。可愛いし、海外しいし。ライバルがいるならうかうかできませんよ、お姉。
Okay, then yes, the Japanian animals are nice. Okay, great.
涙は男を引き寄せる力がありますけど、つなぎ止めておく力はありません。普段は笑ってて、ポイントで泣く。萌えの典型パターンの一つかもです。私もケイちゃんに実践してみるかな。ダメだよお姉が気に入る男の子ですからね。私が気に入らない道理はありませんから。さーて、ケイちゃんをどう引き込んでみせようかな。
She's not as manipulative as you. What does that mean? What animals do you eat all the time then, Roach?
なんならお姉、どっちがケイちゃんの気を引けるか競争しましょうか。
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mion isn't as manipulative. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh, 100%.
やだ。もう絶対やだ。シオン、ひなみ沢に来たら追い返す。
I'm happy for you, sis. It's not too late at all. It's important to know the distance between the boy you love and yourself, and shift the way you appeal to him to compensate. The boy I love is missing. You know? I eat the yummiest ones. But how? What do you mean the yummiest? Like, what does that mean? That doesn't like, it still doesn't describe like... Okay, sure. Yeah. You know what? Sure. I'm happy for you, Roach. I don't even know where he is, or when he's coming back. Compared to that, you're very lucky. Mion was saying she'd do her best from tomorrow, with red, tearful eyes, but I sensed a deeply negative feeling emerging inside me. Nobody was blaming Mion for being happy with Keiichi. I wasn't envious. I wasn't jealous. I didn't want to be the blame the same way I was blamed. It's just that there was no space for Satoshi-kun in Mion's mind anymore. Filled as it was with Kei-chan and her other friends right now, it didn't matter to her if Satoshi-kun came back, or not. Just like how she didn't care if it was sunny or rainy tomorrow. What about me then? Had I been thinking about Satoshi-kun all the time for the past year? I wasn't proud of my own answer. I'd become used to life without Satoshi-kun. His absence didn't hurt me anymore. I was getting used to life with Keiichi and Maebara. And if I let my guard down, he might just fill up the space I've been saving for Satoshi-kun. The fat ones, they're more juicy. Oh, yeah. So you're able to, like, how do you capture the fat ones then? Like, since they're apparently big and difficult to catch, right? How do you catch them? If Shion Sonozaki had prayed harder for Satoshi-kun to return, he might have come home already. Where did Satoshi-kun go? Last year, after his disappearance, I paid close attention to the information circulating in the Sonozaki family and its underground connections. I frequently went to the police station to check with Oishi for new information. Even with all that, I couldn't get any new leads on his whereabouts. I eventually became interested in Oyashiro-sama's curse, which surrounded Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Once that step is done, it's easy peasy. What, are you like, there's one of those rabbit traps? You just like pull the rope and the box falls down? I researched the dark history of the village. The more I looked into it, the less likely a survival seemed. I returned Mio-san's scrapbooks to her. And then I hadn't gone to the library since. I started a new life in a new school. I'd made new friends. And in the same way, as falling leaves cover the ground, I felt like I was losing sight of what was really important to me. It was already almost the end of spring. They said that summer was coming early, and it'd be very hot this year. Normally it'd be the rainy season now, but we'd had no rain at all. The Watsunagashi festival is right around the corner. It's been almost a year since Satoshi-kun went missing. In Hinamizawa, they don't allow you to talk openly about Oyashiro-sama's curse or the series of mysterious deaths. Wait, guess how old I am. That's like... a difficult thing to say. Because I've had people that are like literally in their 50s coming to stream. 6, 7. You know what? I like that. I like that. I like that, Diana. You know what? I'm going to guess that one as well. But yeah, no, I've had like literal like 50-year-olds come in, but I've also had very, very young people come into streams. It's like can be any amount. I'm gonna guess with the majority of people who've come in, you're probably around like how young? The youngest? I've definitely had like kids come in, like literal kids. Like I think Tuno is 21. I am now 23. No, I'm not. Okay. Of course. Oh, yes. How could I forget? You know, we were talking about this yesterday. Talking about this yesterday with some friends that, apparently, like, there are people who go around and then do this stuff, like, what's 9 plus 10? And they, like, put mics, like, up to people, and it's like, they have no clue what you're talking about. They're just, like, 19. Or it's like, they say, like, I can't, but they basically like say a bunch of other memes that was like popular earlier on. Like maybe like, you know, like older memes, but like not super old, just older ones. And, what am I saying? A lot of people don't know it now. But yeah, I'm gonna assume you're most likely around like the teens to 20s, if I were to guess. Roach. Everyone acts like the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt never happened. That's because Satoshi Hojo-kun was a member of the family of traders. Like around 18 to 25. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's the range of... Yes, that is my guess. Maybe slightly younger than 18 as well can be included, but yeah. I am 4. Wow! Wrong? Where do you fall then, if you don't mind me asking? Everybody was trying to forget about his existence and erase their memories of him. What are you saying? Don't make him disappear because of the curse. Don't erase his existence. Satoshi-kun was living in Hinamizawa just a year ago. Well, I'm Gen Z. Yeah, so I thought like I would think the youngest you would be at like absolute youngest would be like 14. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like absolute youngest would be like 14. So I was thinking like around your thing, like 14 to 25. He went to school. He was an A student. He was a member of Hinamizawa Fighters. He never hit the ball when it really mattered. He was unreliable, but pure. He was warm. Because of the curse, people made him disappear. They stopped mentioning his name and acted like he never existed. A new resident like Keiichi Maibara wouldn't even know him. He seriously believed that Satoshi-kun had transferred out. I miss you, Satoshi-kun. I want to go shopping with you again. I want to be in a baseball game with you again and get a cold drink afterwards. I want to tease you. I want you to stroke my head again. Your hand was so warm. I felt as if my whole body was being caressed. Satoshi-kun. I haven't opened this notebook in a while. My feelings have been written down for over 150 pages. This notebook is the key to my heart. The other me who's been sleeping since last year is slowly waking up. Notebook, page 150. I said the absolute youngest, so... I would say, like, absolute young. Like, if you are younger... Like, what I'm saying is, if you are younger than 14, I would be surprised. That's what I was saying.
まったく、ケイチさんのドスケベぶりには呆れましたよ。男の子なら仕方がないのですよ。
Are we back to Keiichi? Oh, well, you're gonna be surprised. Oh, okay.
みーちゃんもしーちゃんも、ケイチくん困ってるよ。
So, are we gonna be Keiichi here? I was watching Rena compilations earlier. How was that?
ですってよ、お姉。
Rena, it's the orange-haired person you just saw. You're 7? Really? Yeah, I would be very shocked if you were 7.
大岡越前じゃあるまいし、このままケイちゃんが引きちぎれるまで引っ張りっこします。引っ張りっこなんかしてないよ。シオンが引っ張らなければ済むことでしょ。シオンは沖宮に帰れ。はい、了解。そうしますね。パッと。
What happened? I let go of Keiichi so suddenly, he and Sis flew off like a rubber band. Keiichi rolled on the ground while Sis was stuck in a bush head first. What lively people.
じゃあケイちゃん、これ以上からかうとお姉に噛みつかれかねないので、今日はこれで帰りますね。
あ、シオン、そのさ、今日はありがとな。
ああ、あんなのお安いご用
I'm
です。
older but younger than 14. I'm not sure. Yeah, 13 then. Like, yeah, that's honestly has to be my next guess. Like, if you are like genuinely, like 13 is the lowest I would imagine. Like, I can see 13, but 12 would be very, very, very surprising for me.
あの程度で音が着せられるなら、いくらでもってくらいに。
じゃあまたな、シオン。
His hand landed on my head. Rub, rub, rub. He shook my head pretty roughly. The warmth reminded me. I thought you said 14. Yeah. No, I did say 14. So like, but if you are anything younger than 13, like I said 14, and I was just like, you said you're younger than 14. So, but if you are like I literally cannot see you being like 10, 11. Maybe 12, and I like maybe 13, you know? But like, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
今日は失礼します。またね、お姉。
Why not? I don't know, just the way you type.
二度と来るなー。レナは紹介。サトコはトラップ。リカちゃんは塩巻いて。
Purify this area with salt. Mion, how do you think that's gonna help? The warmth remained on top of my head. It felt ticklish and sore. I had to stop. I got off my moped and pushed that aching spot against the telephone pole. You said this segment is quite long. How much longer do you think it is? I'm sorry, Satoshi-kun. I'm sorry. I never forgot about you. I still remember you. I'm worthless without you. I can't stand life without you because it's gray and cold and boring. It's true. It's true. I can never smile because you aren't here. I can't.
じゃあまたな、シオン。
Keiichi's face appeared in my mind. I recalled the touch of his hand stroking my head. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy. It was rough and painful. I hate that insensitive guy. He's too childish, rude, and cold. He's like a stray dog. I wasn't happy. It wasn't warm. Imagine being 23. Yeah, my bad, I guess. Ugh, being 23. That's so cringe and lame and uncool. In fact, it will be even more cringe if I'm turning 24 this year. Ugh, that's so disgusting. I already get called old by my sister. Who is, who is 19, or, yeah. No, sorry, 17. Satoshi-kun mumbled. He didn't know what to say in a situation like this, but he knew that he had to better say something. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. So he just mumbled. I'm sorry, Shion. Like 30 minutes or so? Okay, we'll push through. Why are you apologizing, Satoshi-kun? I'm the one who should apologize. Even though I said I'd wait for you, even though I believed my heart wouldn't change, my heart is full of holes. You're leaking out from the small cracks in my heart, little by little. You're leaking out from me. Are you suffering because I'm here? Why? You're so precious to me. So don't say that. I've been here with you all the time. But I'm hurting you by continuing to exist. 1? Whoa! 12. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, as I said, from the way you type, I would not have guessed that. Genuinely, you type more maturely than I feel other people who come into stream and are older. I'm very undercover. I see. It's not true. No. Where have you been, Satoshi-kun? You weren't with me. Tell me where you are. Wait, I just realized, are you allowed to say that on Twitch? If they find that, because, like, don't you have to be at least 13 to be on Twitch? Wouldn't you, like, get banned or something? If, like, Twitch finds out you're, like, yeah, like, older than, thing? What's the postal code? What's the name of the city? What's the street number? Tell me. I'm 27! Good cover up, good cover up. Good cover up, you got this, nice. Here's an address. I knew it. Telling me you've always been with me. Always by my side. That's such a cliche. Which do you prefer, Shion? I can give you strength, I'll stay by your side forever. But if you're suffering because of me, I'll disappear right away. We never speak of this again. It'll be our secret. No one has to know.
そんなこと言わないでよ。一緒がいい。一緒がいいよ。サトシ君といつまでも一緒がいい。
Okay, I'll stay with you then. A car passed by. Wait. So, is this her answering herself, or is this Satoshi, like, listening to Shion during all this and responding, but she can't hear it? Or is it like, I'm confused. That's what you're looking. I'm here. Bring back. Tell her. Thanks, I'll stay by side, but if you're suffering from other spirit, they'll stay with you. Then a car passed by, the noise snapped me out of my reverie. The sky was turning orange. I should get home before it gets cold. I should go home to Okinomiya. You're with me, right? Are you with me right now, Satoshi-kun? I walked back to my moped. My feet sank into the grass. They are very atmospheric. Crunch, 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 crunch. I stopped when I reached my bike. Why do you have to be... don't ask me. Don't ask me. It is Twitch's rules. I'm guessing it probably has something to do with the ads that they do on Twitch. Like, you're not allowed to have targeted ads to certain age ranges in, like, certain countries. And I'm guessing, like, because Twitch only does, like, try to do targeted ads, right? That's what I would guess. I'm not 100% sure. That's just my assumption. You're from Australia. Well, the thing is, Twitch is even though Twitch is an American company, it's kind of global, so it has to comply with laws from every single country. No, you're not. It's complete. You're so funny. Yes, you are. Just a complete capper. I stopped when I reached my bike, but then I heard an extra footstep. I gasped. I could feel somebody else's presence. I'm not stupid. Nobody else was around. Nobody had suddenly appeared behind me, so I wasn't surprised to find nobody when I turned around. But he was definitely still there.
Satoshi-kun.
I couldn't see him, but he was there. He was there for me. Satoshi-kun never lies. He said he'd be with me all the time. I'd just been too insensitive to feel his existence until now.
Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun.
A breeze tickled my hair. It felt cold, but to me it was nothing but the warmth of his hand. It took me a while to notice that my cheeks were wet with tears. Don't tell me that's where it ends there. So funny? I'm so lonely. No, not the switch up. Don't say that. I was too scared to sleep. I went to sleep, I might not find Satoshi-kun there in the morning, so I kept talking to him until I passed out. I told him about what happened while he was missing. I told him that I realized how much I loved him after he went away. I'd searched for him, looked into various different things. No one else is in the chat with me. Dinah is here! Bargained for police information with Oishi, but I couldn't find any leads. Can you watch my Rika vid again? I'll watch it at the end of stream. Or do you want me to watch it now? I couldn't find any leads. A long time passed, but I kept thinking about him. Etc, etc. And, okay. I told him all the small details from my daily life. The places I wanted to go with him. The things I wanted to do with him. The food I wanted to share with him. And friends! Yay! You're not lonely anymore. I was sitting up at first, but I got tired, so I lay down. I got tired of moving my mouth too, so I started talking to him in my mind. It was the happiest night I'd had. Look at the dinosaur. Man, the dinosaur dance is so cute. I don't know why about it. It's so... It's just the way it, like, moves its little arms from side to side. When I woke up, I didn't find Satoshi-kun by my side. I knew it somehow. I was afraid of it. That was why I didn't want to go to sleep. But at least I got to see him for one night. Just when I'd resigned myself to do that, I felt Satoshi-kun presence again. It wasn't a dream after all. I thanked God. God or Oyashiro-sama? And so I began my strange life with Satoshi-kun. As promised, Satoshi-kun was always by my side. He couldn't laugh, mumble, or stroke my head, but he was always with me. Always right by my side. He disappeared sometimes, but he'd come back when I looked for him. It seemed that all I could hear was his footsteps. That's just the way it was. Wait a second. Isn't that the sound of footsteps of Oyashiro-sama? Based on what Rena said? That's just the way it was. It was a bit sad, but I was still satisfied. His presence was really faint, so it was hard to sense him in a crowd. But he never left me. If he were tangible, I'd still be taking his hand all the time so that he wouldn't be lost. In contrast, I could feel him very strongly in a quiet environment. Do you like Lightning McQueen? Lightning McQueen's cool. Cars was the first movie I ever watched in theaters. So I do have fond memories of Lightning McQueen. Old ass. Yeah. My bad, I guess. Ka-chow! In contrast, I feel very strongly in a quiet environment. Of course, I couldn't tell what his expressions were because he was just a presence. But after I got used to it, I could tell what he was thinking. At first, I could only tell he was laughing or not. Eventually, I started to feel his emotions more strongly. I could communicate with him normally. I was usually alone with him, though. I didn't want to go to school or hang out with my friends anymore. But Satoshi-kun got upset about that. He keep mumbling unhappily. Now that I knew he'd always be with me, I shouldn't just stay home all the time. I was sticking to my time alone with him. However, because I was scared that he might suddenly disappear again, I wanted to make the most of the time I was sharing with him, right now. I must have been worrying too excessively. Satoshi-kun will always be at my side. Yeah, that was his promise. He never breaks his promises. I was fine because he was there. Of course, I couldn't tell anyone about him, not even Sis. I could try to explain it to them, but they'd never understand. But you can explain it to Rena! But I was certain that he was with me, so I'd be alright. Excuse me, I never got fed up with life with him. He's really cute, you know, we always walk together. But when I stop, excuse me, he always walks with one extra step. That's so adorable. I love it. Page 159. Did I know? What did I know?
シオンさんはどうなさいますか？今夜の綿流しのお祭りは。
Oh, so it's already been, okay. The Watanagashi this year. So what happens this year? Right? Tomitake and Takano are going to die, but which one is it? Is it the one where they sneak into the storehouse? Is it the first year where, like, Keiichi doesn't really do anything special? Or is it the third year in which Keiichi commits the murder? Or is it none of those, where it's entirely new events that happen?
言って適当に遊ぶつもりです。お姉とその愉快な仲間たちでもからかうかな。
Did you know that I'm in high school? Really? At 12? Did you skip a couple grades? I guess no, wait, let's see. Yeah, because usually people go to high school at 14, I think. I guess Let me see. No, because you turn. I guess no, I could see it. I could see it if you're like. Yeah, I could see 12 being in there. But you probably have to skip a grade, right? Yes, I'm smart enough to. Nice. Congrats then. I want to go to the festival with Satoshi-kun. And you like to see me having fun with everybody. You might get jealous if I play with Kei-chan. But Satoshi-kun isn't sensitive in that way. Satoshi-kun loved to see me and my friends have fun. I should have a lot of fun for his sake. What? Then I talk about the day with him later.
何でひなみ沢に行きますか？車で行くならお送りしますよ。
スクーターで行くからいいや。
それはいけません。
I'm just kidding. Damn. I got it again.
帰りに本家に寄られて、親類の宴会に加わられるんでしょ？居眠り運転などさせられません。
He won't let me drive. But he's kind enough to let me drink.
じゃ、お世話になりますかね。
わかりました。では、夕方に出発しましょう。そのくらいの頃にお迎えに参ります。
Okay. Why does everyone laugh like that? Like with the blah ha 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 ha. Diner does that as well. After Kasai left, I said it's like a maniacal evil laugh. Surplus took it from me, to be fair. True. But you still did it yourself normally. After Kasai left, I sensed that Satoshi-kun was excited about going to the
綿
festival.
流しか。
Hello, Gubby.
サトシくんがいなくなっちゃってから、もうすぐ1年になるんだね。
Satoshi-kun seemed
む
confused.
ー。でしょ？
We laughed together. So I wonder if this... I mean, I'm assuming this presence is actually real, right? But why does Shion sense it? Why am I blue? What do you mean, why am I blue?
いらっしゃい。はいよ、網とお椀。
よし、やるぞ。
Or who's blue?
金魚はみんな生きがいいね。
What do you mean too much blue?
実に美味しそう。この小さいのなんか、そのままボリボリと生でいけちゃうよね。
Everybody hit the sea lion. What's the sea lion? I could eat this little one raw right here. How are you doing, Gubby, by the way? I didn't ask. Huh?
ミオンさんは、何を言ってるんでございますの？みーちゃん、食べてたの？去年、レナからもらったのも食べちゃったの？
Very old man over here. Okay, I don't understand every single meme. Okay, what am I missing out? Me being the old man, which I've been called many times.
違う。
Okay, yeah, I'm...
私そんなこと
Okay,
言って
so
ない。
this is, I think, the events of chapter 2 then. Because I feel like I remember this before. Sis shook her head hard. She turned all red.
いや、でも、今、ミオン、お前自分で言ったぞ。実に美味しそうだって。
確かに言いました。お姉って雑食ですから、口に入れば何でも食べちゃうんです。
美味しいなら、今度僕も試してみるのです。ダメだよ、リカちゃん。お腹壊しちゃうよ。
ちょっと待て。おい、こら。お前、いつの間にいるんだよ。シオン
Wait, did nobody, like, it's... Yeah, okay. I feel like this is an exact scene that played out
ケ
earlier.
イちゃんにお姉にみんな
Do you know scuba? I don't... Like, scuba diving? Yeah, but I don't know scuba exactly what you're
こん
referencing.
ばんは。
I eat goldfish, they're tasty. Why is everyone going crazy? I mean, goldfish crackers are good. Goldfish, like actual goldfish, I don't think people do that often.
あんた、どこから湧いてきたのしよう。焼きそば屋さんの時からずっとです。お姉たちは騒がしいからすぐに見つけられました。もうあんたは関係ないでしょ。早くどっか行きなさいよ。もう
Oh, so,
お
okay.
姉もあ
If
まり
these are the
私を邪
events
険
of
にしない
chapter
でくだ
2,
さい。
then maybe when Shion enters the... Oh, when Shion enters the storehouse, then maybe the banging and stuff that she heard was Satoshi.
ケイちゃん、
But, or maybe not Satoshi, but the presence that she thinks is Satoshi.
私が一緒でもいいですよね。
I took Kei-chan's arm and held it between my breasts. Wow. Thank you. We were gonna have a ball. They must have $20,000 goldfish because it's not important. It's like sick. Yeah. What? I went around the booth with Sis and her friends. I joked around and laughed out loud. I teased Kei-chan and Sis too. Kei-chan was at the center of the group, so if I did something to him, it naturally involved everybody else. It looked like Satoshi-kun was having a hard time finding his own spot in the crowd. When I glanced at him in a quiet moment, he smiled and told me to have fun without worrying about him. If he were tangible, I'd pull his arm to join the crowd. It made me sad that I couldn't do that. I bumped into somebody's shoulder. It was obviously my fault, so I apologized right away. As it turned out, it was somebody I knew. And here they are.
楽しんでるみたいね。こんばんは、しおんちゃん。月の綺麗な晩ね。
It's them.
あれ、すごいお久しぶりですね、高野さん。それから。
そうだね。挨拶をするのはこれが初めてだね。
Shion met Takano first.
僕は富武。みおんちゃんの双子の妹さんだって話は聞いてるよ。
よろしくです、富武さん。
I bet that's what I look like. Well, I unfortunately will not look like any of them as I am a dark-skinned individual.
凄腕のカメラマンとのお噂だとか。ぜひ今度、私も映してくださいね。
デビューを夢見て投稿を繰り返す素人だけど
cosplay
ね。
when? Oh yeah, that's definitely the cosplay I would do.
そんなことないわよ。二郎さんは上手よ。いろいろとね。
But honestly, if I did look like Tomitake, I wouldn't mind.
いやいや、まだまだ勉強が足りないよ。才能に恵まれない分を努力で補わないとね。
I thought you were the girl, but you could be the man too if you wanted. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. And so, yeah, I definitely look like... It's really easy to mess up looking between either of them. It's so close together, really. And honestly, it makes sense how you think I was the one on the left. Here, the girl here. We must have been in a relationship.
高野さんと富武さん、仲がよろしいようで。私はお邪魔ですかね。
あらあら。ご
It
建
does.
設いたにいるけ
Really?
ど。
Oh wow.
お気遣いは
the more you know, the more you know.
それに高野なんてなんだか他人行儀みたいな呼び方ね。昔みたいにミヨって呼んでくれていいのに。
やっぱり目上の人にファーストネーム呼びつけはち
But
ょ
you
っと気
literally
になるも
were,
のでして
Shion. I don't know what you're talking
まあ
about.
気にしないでください。
I smiled bashfully, and Takano-san smiled back elegantly.
あれから図書館には来ないのね。研究の同志とし
Sounds
て
good, Roach?
もっともっといろいろお話ししたかったのに。
まあ気が向いたらそのうちってことで。
研究の同志って、まさかしおんちゃ
Ever
んも
go
興味がある
to
のか
a
い？
cosplay convention? I would go as a Forsaken character. What Forsaken character would you want to go as?
この村の昔話とかに。
I think it's cool to go to convention. I don't think I've ever gone to like an actual, convention before. That's of stuff I'm interested in. I think it would be cool, but I also want to do it with other people. It feels weird to go to something like that by myself. Like I wouldn't want to go there by myself. I would want to have at least one other person I go with. Have you ever dressed up? What do you mean by that? Like, there are many different ways you can dress up. What version of dressing up are you talking about? Like cosplay? No. I have not. I have never done that before. I think it's cool, but it also takes a lot of effort to do that, I think, beforehand. Tomitake-san raised his eyebrow. And also, what about just for Halloween? When I was younger, yeah. But, I never, cause I never went out to parties or anything, right? After I stopped trick-or-treating, I didn't have, I didn't really dress up for Halloween or did anything for Halloween. But when I was younger, yes. What do you mean you're a dark-skinned what do you think I mean? How else could you take it? I'm gonna dress up as Rika and get Surplus to dress up like Satsuko. That sounds fun. On the surface, her research dealt with cultural history of ancient Hinamizawa. This main focus was the Watanagashi festival from ancient times. You don't sound like it. What can I say? The cannibal banquet in which they captured and gutted a living sacrifice. Our research covered various stories surrounding that and other legends of cruelty. It was nothing if not gory. Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. The way I sound and my name being Sebastian, and if you knew my middle name as well, which is Johan, it does not, I don't look like how I sound. Or look, even. Like, if you saw me, when I tell people my name, they're very shocked. Or, like, they don't say anything, but my name is not what people expect when I say them. I'm kidding, I doubt he want to dress up like her. I'm sure he would enjoy it. I'm sure it'd be somewhat fun. Like you were when I told you my age. Fair, fair. That's where her main interests lay. I didn't feel comfortable being called a fellow researcher, to be honest. Love the name Sebastian. Thank you. You know, there's one person here who, when he's here, says it's the worst name of all time. So, you know, I'm glad that you're here and saying it's a nice name. I feel comfortable to call a fellow researcher, to be honest. Who? Surplus when he's in here. He's joking though. He's not being completely serious, but it's still it's funny. But objectively speaking, her research notes were fun to read. It was then that I heard the loud booms of the taiko drums. The main event of the Watsunagashi festival, the dedication dance, was about to start. According to Takano-san's hypothesis, the part of the dance where the shrine maiden tears open a futon mat represents gutting a live victim.
いよいよ始まりますね。そろそろ私も行くかな。高野さんたちも見に行くんですよね。リカちゃまの儀式。
Tomitake-san looked bewildered. Did that mean he wasn't coming? Takano-san giggled and then whispered into my ear. Okay, Roach, thank you for stopping by. Have a good night.
これから祭具殿の中に入ってみようと思うの。
え?
She made it sound like she was going to do something fun, but it wouldn't be amusing to anyone who knew what the ritual storehouse was. Have a good rest of your night. Goodbye. I'm going to probably go as John Doe, but gas harpoon skin, but it's based off something I forgot. I'll look it up after. You're hungry? What do you have to eat then? The ritual storehouse, or the storehouse for ritual implements, is a sort of treasure house belonging to the Furude Shrine. Food? What type of food? Like a snack or a full-on meal? Yeah, I know, duh, okay? My bad, I guess, for asking. Only the people from the Furude family and selected members of the other 2-3 families were allowed to enter. They believe that if other people enter, the palace will be desecrated. I was a witch a couple years ago. I feel like I remember when you said that. Everybody in Hinamizawa must have been curious about what there was when they were kids. At the same time, most likely going nowhere because I have never been... You've never been somewhere for Halloween, is what you're saying? Like you've never gone trick-or-treating or anything? Kids would get chided if they played around it, so they learned to stay away. I didn't like being around it myself since I was familiar with all that. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still didn't want to be near it. Nothing good could come from breaking the rules. Are they still going to enter the ritual storehouse despite all that?
でも、
No, at all convention.
確かものすごい
okay,
厳重
yeah.
な鍵がかかってたと思いましたよ。
Yeah, I haven't been to any one of those. I know, so the thing is, like, if you grew up in the US or even north, like, you know, anywhere in Europe or anything, we probably have a lot of these stuff pretty often. But where I grew up, it didn't have a lot of those things. So now that I'm here, and, you know, because, like, I've actually gone to a bit more things because they actually have things that I'm interested in going in. But, like, they didn't have it before. But now I want to look to go towards doing this stuff. You should go as that frog to the right of Takano. Then freak out when people don't know who you are. What do I say? What do I say? It's like, when people ask what I am. If you couldn't tell, witches are cool. I see that the witch fan is a fan of witches.
去年ま
I'm
で
the
はね。
Higurashi frog. Duh. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you exactly would know if I did that to you, even who's deeply into Higurashi right now. You would say that you would 100% say that you knew what I was talking about, right?
前の缶抜きじゃ重すぎて大変だとリカちゃんが言ったらしいの。それで今年からものすごく安っぽい南京錠に
Being
変わった
gash
の。
harpoon is not a bad idea for Halloween. Thanks for the idea. Well, we were talking about Halloween and conventions, so it kind of just crossed over.
知ってた？
いえ、知りません。でも、安っぽいと言ったって、錠前がかかってますよ。
二郎さんね、とても器用なの。
ピッキングですか？
So why does Tomitake know
綿
how
流
to
しの
lockpick
儀
as
式が
well?
始まれば、全員が儀式に集まるでしょ。西宮殿の周りには人影は全くなくなる。今夜が一番の資格なの。
He has a way with his hands. Of
東大
course.
元暮らしとでも言うのかしらね。
According to our hypothesis, the ancient tools used for human dissection and torture will be formed and found in the ritual storehouse.
よかったら後でこっそりいらっしゃいな。二度とないチャンスよ。じゃあよかったら後でね。
高野さん、何の内緒話だい？
女同士の内緒話よ。
She is so bad.
行きましょう。暗くて人気のないところへ。IB。
Yo, stop being down bad for the... I don't even know what to call her. The Oyashiro-sama researcher. Auntie. I guess that's also could be true. But I feel like she's way... She gives off the aura that she's older than I feel she actually is. Like, Tomitake looks way younger than her, but they're probably around the same age. The ritual storehouse, huh? Supposedly filled with torture tools. Considering what they had in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki house, that's quite possible. Satoshi-kun fell victim to the curse of the 4th year. Her aunt's death was a sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun was the sacrifice to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. That was what Takano-san said last year. It was just her hypothesis. At present, I wanted to deny her hypothesis because I wanted to believe that Satoshi-kun was still alive. If her hypothesis was correct, either some religious fanatic or somebody from the 3 families must be imitating the curse in order to revive the ancient custom of Onigafuchi. That would mean it was them who killed Satoshi-kun. So what if the ritual storehouse was full of garbage instead of torture implements? It doesn't appear to be confirmed, simply mid-30s. So Tomitake-san is slightly younger than her then? It was filled with broken palanquins or freshly painted signboards for the festival. I would assume so, okay. What then? It wasn't really hard for me to believe that it was filled with the chemical smell of paint. Maybe I'll get to deny the hypothesis that Satoshi-kun was sacrificed by seeing the inside of the ritual storehouse for myself. Whatever was in there, it didn't mean that Satoshi-kun would come back.
サトシ君、どうしよう。
Since most people went to see Rika-chan's ritual dance, the festival grounds were deadly quiet. Even so, I couldn't see Satoshi-kun. Did he go somewhere, or was I just not paying attention enough? Maybe he wasn't feeling any emotions in particular. After thinking for a while, I decided to go in with them. It had been almost a year since Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I've been avoiding the truth because I was afraid he might be dead. But now I had a chance. I had a chance to see the inside of the ritual storehouse. I felt as though something divine had arranged that coincidence. On my way to the storehouse, I noticed Keiichi, who was jumping up and down, trying to see Rika-chama's dedication dance over people's shoulders. If I took him along, we could split the guilt. But Yoshida-sama might put a curse on me for entering his divine storehouse. I wanted a partner in crime. He's so dumb, yeah. He is. That's why we love him. Since the boy love disappeared last year because of the curse, maybe Mion's love should disappear this year.
何考えてんだ私。
Yeah, Shion is very selfish of a person. That must have been the demon inside of me. I shut the thought out of my head.
どうしたんだよ、シオン。
Okay, so yes, after this, it is confirmed it is the same events as Chapter 2. Which I guess, like, we probably knew from the motorbike thing as well, but they could have just glossed over that, you know?
それより、
Because
奉
we
納
had
演
to
舞
have
がよく
found
見え
out
るとこって
Shion in the first
まだ
place
遠いの
somehow.
か？
奉納演舞がよく見えるなんて誰が言いました？
Okay, what's your song here, Gubby? Dude, what is this? We made it to the ritual storehouse. Keiichi was baffled by the whole situation. Our timing had been perfect. I could see Tomitake-san picking the lock. Straight songs I find randomly. It still works. You can use your points somehow, though. Even though Keiichi must have been curious, he insisted that we shouldn't go in. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomitake-san joined in. Higurashi main roster tier list and bullet time. Give me a list of what you would consider the main roster. Like yeah, just so I can do the tier list. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomitake-san joined in. It was completely dark inside, so Takano-san lit a battery-powered out lantern. The club members, Shion, Satoshi, Irie, Tomitake, and Takano. Okay. And Chie/Kasai. Okay. From character that I least like to most like. Actually, no, maybe most to least would be better. I probably need to write this down so it's easier, actually. Let me see. Notepad? Okay, so let's see. We have Rena, Mio. I'm just writing things down right now. Keiichi, Satoko, who else? Rika. Okay, so there's the club members, right? Shion, Satoshi, Irie, Tomitake, Takano. Takano, Chie, Kasai. Okay, what do we have? We have Orena. Okay, actually, these two are at the top. Those two are at the top. Next, I don't know. Let me put the music back on here, actually, so we're not sitting in silence. These two are at the top, definitely. Then probably Omitake, Takano, Chie, Kasai. I think, honestly, Shion's at the bottom. Shion. And I think Keiichi's above her. And then Irie goes above that. And then Oishi. Okay. Oishi. Who do I like after Mion? Give me a... Let's see. I think... Honestly, I like Akano. But she's, like, below. Oh, wait, you know what? No, Rika goes above her. There. But there's still a space in between this. Rika, space, Takano, Satoshi. Okay, yes, no, how can I forget this as well? Satoshi is like that. There we go. Tomitake is just the guy that dies. So he's kind of like whatever. Chie, Kasai. I think then Satoko, and then Kasai, and then Tomitake. Oh, Chie, actually, Oishi. There. Like that. Satoko, Kasai. Yeah, okay. I think this is probably my list. Banana, Mion, Rika, Satoshi, Oishi, Takano. Takano was there. Satoko, Kasai. Satoko can go above. There we go. I think that's my list right now. There. From favorite to least. That's what I would say. Also, thank you, Gubby, for that amazing song. You can show that list to Surplus and see what he thinks about that as well. Yeah, Rika, I feel like Rika has just not been touched on that much, you know? Like, we got that backstory for Rika, but, like, other than that, we know close to nothing about her.
みんな転ばないように気をつけるんだよ。
ご心配ありがとう。じゃあ、門番をよろしくね。ここ閉めるわよ。
Takano-san closed the door with a smile as if leaving Tomitake-san out on purpose.
やれやれ。じゃあみんな、ゆっくり楽しんでおいで。
As soon as the heavy door was closed, we were surrounded by a quiet darkness. All we could rely on was Takano-san's lantern.
大丈夫よ。予備電池も入ってるアウトドア仕様なんだから。
I'm just looking back at my list to see if like this is correct, and I do feel this is correct. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this list.
消えたりなんかしないわよ。
Takano-san teased Keiichi a little. Keiichi in turn looked a little pale. He seemed to be able to recognize the sanctity of the building even though he wasn't from Hinamizawa.
さ、入りましょう。よいしょ。
So there's less description about the place, which is good. They're at least cutting down time in that area because we already know how it looks like from when Keiichi explained it before. After Takano-san opened the heavy inner door, a dusty foul smell flowed out. It was like the smell of a pantry that hadn't been opened in years and the smell of a fish market mixed together. I didn't know exactly how to describe it, but it was a bad smell. And listening to the echo of our footsteps, I could tell that this room was much bigger than the one we were just in. When Takano-san raised her lantern, I could clearly see just how big it was. Far side of a wall, there was a statue of some god staring down at us intruders. The way it was lit by the lantern gave it a powerful appearance, and it scared me.
あれがひなみ沢の守り神。お社さんだ
Even
よ
with the music, you still hear the bells. I can't remember if we heard this last time. Like last time, I feel like I remember it was just creepy, but now we're hearing the bells this time. I looked up at the statue, which was holding its religious ornaments. If Satoshi-kun's disappearance was really a curse, I couldn't forgive this god. I found myself irritated by the way the statue looked down at me. Damn you, Oyashiro-sama, if you really made Satoshi-kun disappear, I'll never forgive you. Never. Keiichi didn't seem to understand the significance of the storehouse. He looked bored. Yeah, this is Keiichi, Berserk. This is how he looks like. Akano-san noticed that and took out her scrapbook to show him the brutal history of ancient Hinamizawa. I'd heard that story already, so I decided to walk around myself. Since I knew the significance of all these tools, I felt a little nauseated. Though they certainly wouldn't jump out to me, I still found them intimidating. They looked as though they were craving for fresh blood after not being used in hundreds of years. All the tools looked similar to the ones I saw in the underground. Torture room at the Sonozaki main house. Wait, why? What was so dumb about your opponents? Those tools were the progenies of torture implements. These would be their ancestors. Their deck was just four of the best decks slapped together into one. So it had no... how do you say? Like, no synergy with each other. They weren't kept maintained like the ones at the Sonozaki house. So did that mean they shouldn't scare me? No, on the contrary. It told me that cruel rituals were indeed performed at this village at one point. Now that I found scary. They sort of did, okay. In some places, no, okay. So why do you say they're dumb then? When Takano-san told me was this truth. When I stopped, Satoshi-kun also stopped behind me, one step later. I felt no emotional change in Satoshi-kun. I couldn't tell if he was feeling something or not. I knew he was there, but I had no idea how he was feeling. I felt scared of him for the first time. If he could answer me, I'd want to ask him, who demoned you away? Because who the fuck plays a
Satoshi-kun.
deck like that? Is it not, like, why is it not normal to play a deck like that?
聞いてる?
I couldn't tell if he heard me or not. He left, as if he didn't hear anything. I could tell that he'd been sulky ever since we got here. I suddenly felt lonely, so I looked for him while walking around. I realized that then there was an altar in front of the statue. He might be there. It was a clean altar. An altar ornamented with religious artifacts. It was kept well maintained. I saw no dust. That would mean, well, the flowers in the vase weren't wilting. I saw a pretty handkerchief under the vase. It looked out of place amongst everything else. I was fairly certain it was Rika Furude's handkerchief. That would mean the storehouse is maintained daily. Because it has to be horribly inconsistent, you have to have a giant-ass deck, like 60 cards. Oh, like, when you... Oh, like, the entire deck. When you said it was just for the best decks, I thought you meant, like, it took parts of each deck and put them together. No, it just meant the entire deck, and you put them into one... That's funny. Okay, I see. It was a forgotten ruin buried in dust. The brutality that dwelled in this ritual storehouse is still alive and well in Hinamizawa. That's right. Something as ambiguous as Oyashiro-sama's curse is nothing more than a simple delusion of the villagers. As Takano-san said, everything that happens in this world is done by humans. I'd accuse Oyashiro-sama of demoning away Satoshi-kun. But Oyashiro-sama is just a statue made of bronze or wood. It's nothing but an icon. There are, however, human beings who would try to make that icon seem real. It's like the... Yeah, no, that sounds pretty... Well, yeah, why would they do that? Like, if you're gonna copy a deck, copy one. Why copy 4 of them? There are... Yeah. A series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is the result of human action. It shouldn't be called Oyashiro-sama's curse. For Satoshi-kun was the 4th year's victim, and he was victimized by a human being who was just acting part of the curse. The person who was demoned away, Satoshi-kun, must not be very far away from me. The truth behind Satoshi-kun's disappearance was not so far from my grasp. I was startled by the sound. It sounded like somebody had dropped something. I looked over at Takano-san and Keiichi. Takano-san was still lecturing him. Did she drop her scrapbook or something? The sound came from right behind me, not from them. I'd never heard Satoshi-kun do that. Sounded like somebody was stomping on the floor in frustration. What is it? The sound continued, ignoring my question. I heard it right nearby. It sounded as though a child was hopping on a wooden floor somewhere
どうしたの?
distant.
サトシ君、何か怒ってるの?
We didn't hear Shion talking about this, though, right? I couldn't read his expression. I thought he was mad, but I didn't sense any emotion from him at all. Was he mad that I touched the altar? Maybe you weren't supposed to do that. It's not that I've been able to communicate with Satoshi-kun in a concrete way. I just talked to him. I was never expecting him to react like that. I didn't sense a willingness to communicate from this creepy sound. Then a chill ran up my spine. Felt as if all my pores were opening. I've been thinking that it was Satoshi-kun stomping on the floor. Hey. You. You're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? The sound stopped when I asked that. It wasn't a yes or a no. Just silence. Satoshi-kun wouldn't scare me like that. I suddenly realized that the sound hadn't come from Satoshi-kun. A cold shiver shot through my feet as I sprung a step back. The sound had come from right there. Even though I jumped back, it was still just a few meters away. Satoshi-kun would sometimes let me hear his footsteps when I walked, but that wasn't Satoshi-kun, then there was no guarantee I'd hear its footsteps. So that invisible being could that invisible being could already be right in front of my eyes. Falafel Eldritch Shadow. Okay, I tried to come up with weird nicknames for all of them, but I couldn't. So, all in one, it was so ass. Or did you destroy it? Or, like, how was it? Why are you crying over that? Invisible being could already be in front of my eyes, and I just wouldn't see it? I got everything and ran, straining my ears as much as possible for any sound, listening for any footsteps pursuing me. I ran right into Keiichi and clunked him, timidly turning back to look. The dimly lit area before the altar was quiet, like nothing was happening. But seeing that chilling dark stillness, realizing I was just in that space, made me even more frightened now.
どうしたよ、シオン。ひょっとして怖くなった？
Keiichi made fun of me, even though he looked horrified just a little while ago. He now looks satisfied to see me scared too.
お化け屋敷で女の子がしがみついてくるのはデフォじゃないですか。まんざらでもないくせに。ほらほら、行きましょう。高野さんに置いてかれます。
I pretended to be fine, but I wasn't sure if I'd be able to hide my fear entirely. The footsteps were chasing me. They were outside the illumination of the lantern, as if they couldn't go into light. Presence never left us, however. It followed us like the fourth member of the party. Sometimes they made a stomping sound as if wanting some recognition, but neither Takano-san nor Keiichi seemed to notice it. So I wonder if Rika knew with all this was happening. She's meant to be the next coming of Oyashiro-sama, right? Wonder if she knew. Because it seems like Mion knew as well. From what I remember what happens after, because she questions Keiichi. But neither Takano-san nor Keiichi seemed to notice it. It was possible for Takano-san to be ignoring it, but Keiichi would never ignore it. If he could hear it, he would have said something. So just like with Satoshi-kun, only I could hear it. What was this thing that was making me so scared? Was it Satoshi-kun in a bad mood? Was it possible that the presence I believed to be Satoshi-kun might not have been him at all? What are you upset about, Satoshi-kun? Tell me if I did something wrong. I'll apologize. If you weren't Satoshi-kun, then where did he go? When did you take his place?
シオン、大丈夫か？
はい、全然平気ですよ。それよりケイちゃんこそ、顔面蒼白で。
なら、あまり俺の服を引っ張りすぎないでくれると嬉しいんだけどな。
あ、こりゃ失礼です。
あらあら、私はお邪魔かしら？
I decided to engage in the conversation to help myself ignore the sound from behind. I didn't hear the sound as much, and it became a bit more distant. Yeah, I shouldn't pay attention to it. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't hear it. I should just ignore the noise.
高野さんはその風習が、実は現代にも残っているんじゃないかと思って研究をしてるんです。そうでしたよね。
これ、本当に内緒なんだからね。シオンちゃんは理解のある人だから話したけど、他
And
の
this is
村
where
人には
Shion's
聞か
gonna
れた
see
くない
something in the
の。
cage.
下手をしたら、罰当たり者ってことで、袋叩きにされかねないんだから。
She smiled at me like a witch.
前原くんも内緒にしてね。知られたら私、お社様のたたりに会うか、生贄にされちゃうかするかもしれない。たたりなら、今年はどんな死に方をさせられちゃうのかしら。生贄なら、鬼ヶ淵の沼に生きたまま沈められちゃうのかしら。そういえば、今夜よね。
What, sorry? What were you responding to?
お社様のたたりがある夜は。
Oh, were you responding to what I said about... I don't know, I just remember in chapter 2, Shion saw something up here, right? In one of these cages. Wow. Yeah. It certainly is. I agree, Shion. If the curse strikes for a 5th time, it'll happen tonight. Takano-san pulled out an old scrapbook from her paper bag and started turning the pages. She opened it to the page with that one article. It was the article about a brutal murder of a Watanagashi victim. It happened in the Meiji
これ
era.
は実際にあったお話よ。明治の終わり頃にね、鬼ヶ淵村で身元不明の惨殺死体が発見されたんですって。かくも無残、かつ残虐非道を。
Dude. She was hearing... I feel like I remember Keiichi hearing some of the stomping as well, right? Because like Keiichi commented on it, but it was not this badly. Like this bad, this stomping was. Hey, you guys seriously don't hear that. It's freaking loud. How can you not hear it? It's freaking noisy. Cut it out already. The next one, we all heard a squeaking noise. We turned around in surprise. It was just Tomitake-san opening the door.
驚かせちゃったかな？
あら、二郎さんも見たくて我慢できなくなったかしら。ここ、素敵な拷問道具の宝庫よ。
僕は遠慮させてもらうよ。生来ね、こういうのは苦手なんだ。
Takano-san laughed as if making fun of Tomitake-san for being such a scaredy cat.
それより、演舞とセレモニーが終わって、みんな沢の方に降りていったよ。あと何分もしないうちにお祭りは終わっちゃう。
Time was up. I never expected that Tomitake-san would save me from this nightmare. His face suddenly looked heroic.
ケイチ君も出るかい？
もう十分に見ましたので。シオン、もういいだろ。出ようぜ。綺麗な空気が吸いたいよ。
同感です。出ましょう。
Okay, wait. So, is this different from chapter 2? Because there was that entire thing where Shion looked up at the cage and screamed, "What was that?" As if she saw something. But it did not happen this time. It was, she just talked about the stomping. So is this different compared to chapter 2? Takano-san was taking photos in a mad rush, though our time was up. I didn't hear that sound anymore. I didn't feel that presence. I didn't feel Satoshi-kun either. But somehow I wasn't too sad about that. Even if he followed me out here, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was really him or somebody else. And that's where that ends off for today, I'm guessing. So, from here on out, if this even is chapter 2, we don't know what happens to Shion, because Oishi said that Shion disappeared after tonight or the night after. That underground torture room is officially called the Underground Ritual Storehouse. So do torture room and ritual storehouse mean the same thing? According to Takano-san's theory, bloody rituals, including Watanagashi, have been passed down among the three families even after the Meiji era. The rituals are always ready to be performed. Their form of worship always revolved around torture. So Hinamizawa's history involved a great deal of human slaughter. Takano-san's theory is correct. Underground storehouse at the Sonozaki house looked well maintained. Takano-san is right about that too. Since the Sonozaki family and the Furude family both have ritual storehouses, the Kimiyoshi family must have one too. After all, these ancient and brutal customs are still handed down through the generations. We know nothing about the Kimiyoshi family. You know absolutely nothing about them. I shall remain armed with the knowledge that the occult events are still secretly being performed in this cursed village. The sanctity of the ritual storehouse is one of the most prominent elements in the worship of Oyashiro-sama. Of course, I knew that since I'm originally from Hinamizawa. But violating that sanctity is almost a more serious problem than I thought. Takano-san's research showed that history of the ritual storehouse goes way back. The ritual implements within have long been viewed as inviolable objects, which is why it was strictly forbidden to enter. Takano-san's theory says that Watanagashi was once a public execution, performed to have stabilized the reign of the three families, rather than a purely religious ritual. If so, the ritual should hardly be called sacred. Under these circumstances, the implement should have been despised as symbols of hatred and fear. When instruments of fear are too visible, it only creates a reign of terror. But keep them as hidden as possible, and they gain divinity. Many said they would become tainted if the layman touched them. The only reason for that was to preserve their false prestige through secrecy, since they would lose their sanctity if revealed before the common folk. In other words, the true identity of the ritual storehouse's sacredness was fear. That was the true emotion ruling over this village. The reason why Takano-san and Tomitake-san were cursed is because they broke into the ritual storehouse. I don't know how the villagers found out about it. So this is after that Shion found out that they disappeared. Maybe somebody was watching. Maybe there was an anti-theft alarm. Either way, our intrusion must have been reported to the highest level of the curse system. That's because considering the distance between the village and the site where Takano-san's body was found, She must have been killed right after we came out of the ritual storehouse. It was done very quickly. It's possible that a special assassination team exists for this purpose, or that the plan had been set up a long time ago. They might have been a secret agents of the Sonozaki family, but the latter sounds more valid. But if so, who would have been the victim if nobody broke into the ritual storehouse? But it was already decided. So maybe because things were already planned in advance, and they knew certain events would happen. It's weird. It is weird. Okay. I think that'll be it from me then for today, though. It is a we did a longer stream, but it was longer. Yeah. There's a lot that happened in this this segment, though. But I'm really interested to see what happens afterwards, because this is interesting where this leads off. Yeah. Okay. But that'll be it from me then for today. Because Shion apparently disappears, I think, maybe either next chapter or chapter after. If this is even chapter 2 events from Shion's perspective, this could be an entirely different section. Entirely different chapter, a different series of events in the timeline. But yeah, that'll be it from me. Thank you for everyone who stopped by the stream. I appreciate it. I'll be back, with more Higurashi When They Cry tomorrow.